Getting nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Robert Thomas.
Yoo-hoo,
Robert
baby.
Thomas is back. Hey, well, we're going to reevaluate you in about 4 to 6 weeks. Or you're going to come back just shy of 4 weeks.
Yes.
My man is back. He'll be in the lineup tonight.
Guy's a player.
As the Blues take on the Minnesota Wild pregame right here on 101 ESPN starting at 6 o'clock. I'm not shocked because we kind of heard rumblings that Robert Thomas could be back. We talked yesterday about Kasperi Kapanen being waived and what that means for Robert Thomas. So not shocking, but this is quite the turnaround for Robert Thomas, Jamie. And I'm glad to see that the first-line center will be back.
Yeah, so what's wild is, like, when these guys get hurt, you don't really see what's going on behind the scenes. You're not really informed of what's going on.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Well, for us, yes, the fans, yes, but for the team, absolutely not. And Robert Thomas, in this particular time, I'm going to power through Carey Davis over here breaking things.
Making a lot of noise.
And this injury here, Robert Thomas took it upon himself to go find experts and other doctors. Flew up to Toronto, spent 7 to 10 days there doing different things than he was doing here. Stayed in great shape. Then he requested to be with the team on the last road trip so he could be around the guys and start to feel like he's part of the team again, and also get his work in with the athletics guy, the trainer, and also the medical trainer, all that stuff. I thought maybe there'd be a possibility for a Thursday return, but I actually was looking at, I circled the game in Long Island. I'm like, probably that one there.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Nope, he's ready to go. He's ready to go, and the Blues desperately need him. They do. They need more offense. They just have not been generating enough. And Robert Thomas coming back, although I don't know what kind of minutes he'll play tonight. Either way, it'll shave some minutes off of some of the other guys while they've been trying to carry the load since he's been out. But it's a very welcome addition for the Blues.
Text from the 636. This is like making a trade for an all-star.
Oh, yeah, you gave up nothing.
You gave up nothing.
Yeah.
You got an all-star
It's
back.
like picking up a guy off waivers.
And
for
he's ready to
nothing.
play.
And he's an all-star.
He's an all-star, and he's ready to grow. So I think the Blues have done a great job. Yeah.
Good job, Army.
You say this all the time, like making a trade.
I say the exact opposite.
Nah,
He's
like
already on your roster. You didn't trade for him.
Yeah, but you added him.
That's not what I heard.
It's different.
Yeah, you brought him back.
It's not different.
I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I think it's even better because you get to put Booch back on the wing, which I think will help your team be more efficient offensively, more effective, able to make more plays, score more goals. I mean, that's how you win games, fellas. You score more than the other team.
That's a great concept, Carey. I'm going to write that down.
I've been working on this for a while, Jamie, and all my research says if you score more than they do, you win. And so,
It's a dynamite drop in, Monty.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Been working hard at this.
So my question is he fully healthy now, or is this sort of like an act of desperation for the Blues to somewhat save their season from where they're at right now?
No, you wouldn't see that happening. No chance. This is a franchise type player. You're not screwing around. If it took another week, they'd wait a week. I mean, it's just that's the way it is. But with a broken bone or a fracture, and I don't know exactly what it is. But I've had plenty of broken bones and fractures and all those things and chipped bones. Once you're healed, you're good to go. It's not like a ligament where you have to work at it, got to be careful and ease your way into things.
So this isn't like, and you've watched the Amazon Prime series.
Forsberg?
This isn't a Philip Forsberg thing, is it?
No, I don't. Well, first of all, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not in the medical room. So for me to say, no, it isn't, I mean, yes, it is. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
But he was playing every single game. He would almost re-injure his foot.
I think there were ligament things going on there where I don't believe, at least not to my knowledge, that there's anything like that. It seemed like it was just a good little clean break. They gave it some time, just roughly 4 weeks to heal. And, with technology today, they've got the bone stimulators. They've got all these other things that you can do. Yeah, Carey, it's a bone stimulator.
Yeah.
I've never heard of those.
Yeah.
They're quite popular,
Get
Anthony.
your bone
I would
healed.
imagine.
Yeah, they are.
Quickly.
It helps
Get you going.
the bone get bigger, stronger, quicker.
Yep.
So, anyways, that'll
Hopefully
help
not
him.
too quick.
Well,
I mean, it's fine. If the bone gets hard quicker, that's better for the player.
That aspect of it, sure.
Yeah. Well, that looks like it's what happened with Robert Thomas, and he's back in the lineup tonight. And it's perfect timing for it. It's a big divisional game. You've had a rough go here. You've carried the load. The last 3 games on the road, you get an overtime loss, a win, and a loss, and now you're trying to make up some ground in the Western Conference.
Yeah, they say, breaking a bone is better than the high ankle sprains and all of those things because it is. It's snapped. You fix it. It gets healed, and you're ready to get back into action. So I'm happy that and I agree with Jamie. I don't think they would risk putting him out there if there was any real risk of injuring it any further. I think right now he's probably as good as he's going to be, ready to roll. And he might have less time on ice because of conditioning purposes. Like when you're unable to do your sport for 4 weeks or almost 4 weeks in that level, you can do conditioning with the training staff. But it's nothing like game action that
no.
you get
But
gassed.
I guarantee if they're within a goal,
he's probably pushing
out
through.
there.
No question. Yeah.
And he's quarterbacking the power play, too. Is that because of the injury, or is that just, hey, let's get a new look because the power play hasn't been doing as well?
I think it's that one, yes.
Gotcha.
The power play has been not good. Like,
When you describe not good, like out of all the teams in the National Hockey League,
Yeah.
where are the Blues ranked?
I think like 30th?
Oh, how many teams they
I
have
have to
in the
double check.
National
32,
Hockey?
Carey, so it's not terrible.
They're not dead last.
But not great.
Okay.
And I think it's actually the perfect spot for Robert Thomas because he distributes the puck so well to both his left and right-hand side. He will shoot it. We saw last year when the power play was successful. He was taking that puck all the way up to the blue line and then coming right back down. He was shooting pucks. Sets up, Justin Falk for a one-timer in his spot. I like it. You change it up, man. It hasn't been working.
No.
And so now you get to change up the setup and you add your star player.
I got good news for you, Jamie.
Hey, what's that?
They are not ranked number 30.
There you go.
29. 29. Yeah. Boy, this is a good news day.
Those 2 goals against, who was it recently? 2 goals.
Against Boston.
No.
No, it was the game before. It was against Buffalo. They went 2 for 3 on the power
Yeah.
play.
Buffaloes.
And Anthony, they still managed to lose that game.
They did lose
We talked
that
about
one.
it.
I thought it was the
No, it was Buffalo.
Boston game when they scored the 2 in the
was the
second
Boston game.
period,
Yeah.
and then it was the Boston game.
Yeah, I don't think we scored a power play goal.
It was the 2. It was the 2
maybe you're right.
in the second period, and then the third period.
You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of
happened.
Brandon Saad scoring 2 goals.
Yeah,
That's
that
what it
happened
was.
in Buffalo.
That happened in Buffalo.
All of those, by the way, are B words. Boston, Buffalo, Brandon. The triple B.
You got to be careful for
Today's
those.
show is brought to you by the letter B.
Yeah.
B.
And the number.
Big Bayside.
What's the number? Stomp, stomp.
No,
What's the
no,
number?
don't you remember the
Stomp,
count?
stomp. What
number
is the
of the
number?
day.
Yeah.
Do you remember
That's
that?
the name of the song.
No.
No, the
What's
count.
the number?
No.
Sesame Street.
What's the number?
That's
What
a different
is the
song.
number?
Gary Davis.
The
How many Super
number
Bowls
of
have
the
you won?
day.
The number
One.
of the day.
One Super Bowl.
One.
It's all the same thing. We're talking about.
I don't think
No,
that's
it's not.
the same.
You're
Yes,
not even
it
close.
is.
What are you guys talking
What is
about?
the number? And then it
think
comes
that's a completely
down, and
different
then
thing
it
they're
goes, the
talking
number of the day is...
Oh, that's the end of the show, though.
No.
The beginning of the show, the count.
The count.
That's the number of the
It's
day.
all the same song.
No, the count doesn't sing like that. Have you never heard him?
The other characters sing, and they get stomping. What's the number? Stomp, stomp.
I
What's
don't
the
know
number?
if I-
Who has young kids?
They don't watch Sesame Street anymore. It's not like it used to be.
Okay. When they did.
Let's go back to the 80s, because that's the version I watched.
Okay.
All right.
Right?
We talking about Sesame Street?
Yes, Sesame
Okay.
Street.
When Big Bird used to hallucinate and talk to his friends.
Yeah, Snuffy.
What the heck do you think Big Bird was on?
Oh, all kinds of stuff in that nest.
Imagine, not only do you have an imaginary friend, but it's basically a mammoth
Yeah.
that's
That wasn't
walking
real.
around.
That wasn't real?
No,
No,
nobody
it's
else
his
could see it.
imaginary friend.
I don't remember that.
So it's true story. True story. I used to watch Sesame Street, never caught on to it. And then I was like a teenager. I go back and I'm like, nobody ever talks to Snuffy except Big Bird.
Snuffleupagus wasn't
Yeah.
real?
No.
No, it was his imaginary friend.
Whoa.
What twist?
I do think that
guy was fake?
I think
was a
that
puppet.
in later episodes, others
Snuffleupagus
can
was
talk
real.
to him.
Well, because Big Bird was stealing that stuff. That's why.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. I mean, how is he gonna live? How is he gonna live on Sesame Street if it don't work?
You gotta work.
Yeah, yeah. Good call on that. This makes a lot of sense.
That's how we start.
Frick James from the Snake Pit, our YouTube channel, or Airlines Team YouTube channel. This brings me back to the Chappelle Show parody skit. I don't know if it was a parody skit. I think it was just Chappelle in his comedy. Did you ever listen to him talking about the Grouch? It's like, kids are always like,
your relative hates us right now. Bill Marsh in the chat room said, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Can we move off of Big Bird?"
Bill Marsh is one of the more pleasant human beings.
Bill Marsh seems like a guy that liked Big Bird.
Bill Marsh.
I don't know. We might have the same last name, but I don't know if we're related.
That's your uncle. Yeah, uncle. Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill.
It's a great spot to eat food when
it was
2 a.m.
And now that is a great place.
Bill, what show have you been listening to? This is the show. We can talk about Robert Thomas and the Blues, and all of a sudden we get
what's the number?
We get a Big Bird.
What's the number?
And how he's huffing paint. I mean, come on. This is the show, Bill. He gave us an LOL. He gets it. All right,
let's
pass
Bill,
it
welcome back.
All right, Bill, he's back.
We love you again.
He's
Robert
back.
Thomas is back.
Let's go. All right, let's shoot Brandon Kiley.
Yes!
Yeah. BK, we lost as a team, unfortunately.
We get shoot BK.
But BK, for the first time, gets punished. Next.
Do we tell him about the line, or we just... Do we give him the Carey Davis?
Carey,
Get as close as
when
you want.
Carey shot me, it was closer. Who got shot last week?
I did.
So it's Marsh's turn.
Yes.
He gets to do it. All right, so we're going to shoot BK with the airsoft gun and go over our Week 11 Pick'em Challenge recap. That's next.
Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Well, you sure know how to pick them.
NFL Week 11 Pick'em Challenge, refreshed by Bud Light. Week 11 now in the books following the Texans' victory over the Cowboys last night. Now, it didn't matter for us as a team. Team Fastlane, we still lost to the Rizzuto show, so our magic number is still at 1. Speaking of 1, Brandon Kiley will receive 1 shot today from the airsoft gun. But BK, as he joins us now in the penalty box, is what we refer to it as. He joins us from the penalty box. BK, this is a pretty good run, man. 11 weeks it took you to get your first punishment.
Not only
bad.
Pretty good, but pretty miraculous, pretty shocking for everybody involved, I would assume. My assumption was when you invited me on the team, it was for this.
That's correct.
So I could be the sacrificial lamb, which was understandable. I didn't blame anybody for it. But yeah, we made it this far. All of my 50-50 picks went in the wrong direction this week. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You anticipated right. We thought, you know what, he's going to be good enough that he's not going to drag the team down, but just bad enough where he's going to have to take the majority of the shots. And we were wrong about that. You've had an excellent year.
Hey, give it time. Give it time.
How many weeks left?
Like 7?
Yeah, 7, 8.
I could get up
7.
there still.
That's that math.
I mean,
thing
it's
again.
in you, but
Oh, yeah.
7. 7's the
What
number.
week are we on?
We're heading into week
11.
12.
Well,
Okay.
we're technically in week 11. No, I guess we're in week
We're
12.
punishing BK for week
right?
11.
I don't know.
We're heading into week
12.
12. All right, BK's got to get home because he's
7.
got a young child. So let's shoot this young man.
All
And
right.
we'll
Who's
get it
shooting
over
him?
with. Marsh, because he got a shot last
All right,
week.
yours
So
too.
the rule is, and you can partake next week, BK. If you want to shoot whoever loses next week, provided it's not you, you can come back and do so. That's been our thing.
Yeah.
Alex Ferrario is now at the window, and he is so
thoroughly
excited.
enjoying this.
He is so excited to see
on, Marsh.
BK get popped
You
here.
tell him come on in. Yeah, tell him come on in.
You should fire it, Alex.
He's excited.
I feel like this is a little closer than it used to be.
Wow, BK is getting his punishment, and
You
now
feel like
Alex
we're closer?
Ferrario.
I feel like we're a little closer.
Yeah, back up a
We
little.
changed that a little bit because we want people to learn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to hike that shirt up just a tad bit.
Oh, yeah, look at
there
that.
you go.
Yeah, do we
Look at
have
those
to?
Wranglers.
Hold on, let me get the
Do we have
camera.
to? Yeah, do we have to adjust the camera just a little bit?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, T-Bone's in here, too.
T-Bone wants to see
Everybody
this.
wants to be a part of
We
this.
want pain, guys.
All right.
Hold on.
Look, he's got them all clinched up there.
Yeah, he
He
does.
does that a lot.
He's got a wallet in his back right pocket.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, here we go.
I think he double layered the
All
other.
right, BK, do you want a countdown here?
Do whatever, man. We gotta clinch it up.
You are, yeah.
All right.
You're airtight right
On
now.
you.
this.
One shot for losing week 11. Here we go.
3, 2.
That was high.
That was right where the wallet was.
All right.
That'll show you for trying to sneak it in there.
Yeah. So, BK, as we like to say, this hurt us more than it hurt you.
You get a little stain.
Better luck next week.
You know the salsas that really like. At first, you get it in the mouth, and you're like, that's not so bad, and then it just
Wrong show.
lingers there for a little while.
I bet it does.
When you get it in there,
Yeah.
it lingers. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. See you
BK,
guys.
I know what you're talking
I'm gonna
about.
talk to my 1-year-old.
Why don't you go have some of that salsa?
All right, buddy. Nice job. Nice job this week. That's Brandon
That's your
Kiley.
water?
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
BK and Ferrario and our guy T-Bone weekly here on 101 ESPN from 11 to 2. Let's hope he's back next week, guys.
I think he's going to be fine. He'll walk it off.
I don't know.
That I
You
think
get
it'll be
two.
fine. But
Oh,
I'm
you mean you
hoping-
want him shot again?
Yes.
Yeah. You get 2 back to back. Like the one you can handle.
Yeah.
But if it's 2 in the same spot,
I agree, Carey. It's way different.
yeah.
Yep.
So where are we, I think I'm on 2.
I'm on 2.
You're on 2.
I would be.
You'd be getting
I'm
3.
at 2.
Yeah,
I'm
you're at 2. Jamie's at 2. Marsh is at 3, I think, right?
Marsh is at 4.
I'm at 4.
You're at 4?
He got 4.
Did you get 4 last week?
No, 3.
No, I got 4
got
last
4
week.
last week.
2 of them, or 3 of them didn't really hurt, and one of them did.
Oh, that's right. We saw the poof in his shorts.
It was the shorts.
Oh, that's
Poofy
right.
shorts.
The
Yeah.
poofy shorts. Yeah. All right. Anyways, biggest regret from this week?
Every afternoon slate game. I lost all of them.
That was the Ravens. The hell are they doing?
I
They're
flipped.
playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but I thought that was a gimme.
Yeah, it
No
was.
disrespect to the Steelers, of course.
They haven't beaten them in years. I don't know why you would go against the Steelers.
I had the Steelers, but I'm trying to create some room between CD and I. So
Didn't work out?
no, it was a strategy. I don't know if I regret it. I had the winning pick.
Well, I have a huge regret, by the way. I had the Colts the whole time until like the day before.
Yeah.
And I flipped to the Jets. I thought, remember, I was like, I had the Colts. I went and looked today. I
Yeah, the
didn't. I
Jets.
flipped it. I went, oh, son of a.
yeah.
Not great.
I had the Jets as well. I took the Falcons. That's my worst pick of the
Yeah.
weekend.
I
I'm so
don't know why
disappointed.
people like them so much.
I'm so disappointed in them. You go out there and get smacked around after getting smacked last week.
Yeah. It's not a good team.
Show up. Have some pride.
They have no pride.
We lost to the Saints the week before.
That's correct.
Have pride.
I didn't think there was any chance in hell the Falcons would go out to Denver and beat them. But I do regret, I actually flipped from the Steelers to the Ravens, and I flipped from the Colts to the Jets. So, those
Did you?
Yeah.
How much did we lose by? 2?
Yep.
Way to go, Anthony.
There's 2.
That's
Are
me.
you serious?
That's 2 weeks you've done that. You should get shot today.
No. Maybe. Marsh, yours?
I don't want to say that I regret picking the Chiefs over the Bills because I think I may have done that on purpose and it worked. But other than that, I guess the Eagles-Commanders game, I missed that one. I think that may have been the only... Oh, no, I missed the 49ers-Seahawks. I would have never taken the
but you're not taking the
Seahawks.
Seahawks,
So, really, I really liked my picks this week.
Okay. Well,
So...
you didn't get shot, and you did well. So, there you go.
And as bad as I have been this year, I'm only 4 overall picks behind you, Anthony. Oh, as the top dog.
I got to get back on track here. Start smoking, you guys. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. BK has officially paid off his Pick'em Challenge punishments. College football rankings come out tonight. What do we want to see? What do we think we'll see? How much changes from last week? We had some more upsets. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Robert Thomas is back, and he will be on the ice tonight for your St. Louis Blues as the Blues take on the Wild. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll continue talking about the Blues throughout the remainder of the show. Also last night, the Houston Texans defeated the Dallas Cowboys 34-10. Absolute shocker there. We'll talk college football next, so stay tuned as the college football playoff ranking will be released tonight. Who will be in the top 12? We'll discuss next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
On 101 ESPN tonight, we'll see the latest college football playoff rankings with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. What CD do you anticipate that we'll see in terms of the biggest changes in the college football landscape?
BYU, that would be a huge one. They took a loss. I'm interested to see where Colorado is. I'm also interested to see how this SEC plays out, because you got a lot of teams that are right there. You got Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, who just lost to Georgia, all right there. Mm-hmm. One of those teams is probably going to be out because Boise State will be in. And this is just for this week, right? Boise State will be in. Notre Dame is in. The winner of the ACC, whether that's SMU or Miami, will be in. I don't know if you get, 4 teams from the SEC at this point that'll be in as well. So which one of the SEC teams will be out? I think it'll be Tennessee. And, they said there were 2 losses, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, outside of that, I don't know if anybody necessarily gets knocked. I think this is the big weekend coming up. You've got Ohio State playing Indiana. You've got Notre Dame versus Army. So assuming if Notre Dame doesn't get tripped up by Army, they're going to be fine. But that Ohio State-Indiana game is going to tell us a lot about how these rankings kind of play out here.
So I had this conversation the other day. It's, to me, even if Indiana loses on the road at Ohio State, they're the number 2 team in the country in the college football rankings. Mm-hmm. There's no way you tell me Indiana is now out of the playoffs and you put a 2-loss SEC team in.
But what if they're one loss?
What's the resume?
But they're a one-loss Big Ten team.
I don't care.
And their one loss is to the number 2 team in the country.
So let's play this out, though.
If it's close. And then if Ohio State loses, they're still in. So that's the part where I feel like there's so much SEC favoritism. You just automatically assume that, they're in the SEC, they're better. Why? Because they started higher. They were already ranked coming into the season. Mm-hmm. You have more SEC teams ranked. So, but I've seen Kentucky almost beat Georgia. I watched Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Neither of those teams are in the top 25. So how can you tell me that Alabama is deserving after losing to Vanderbilt? Tell me Georgia is deserving after almost losing to a Kentucky team. Ole Miss did lose to Kentucky, and Kentucky is 4-6. And you're going to tell me that all those teams would deserve to be in over a one-loss Big Ten team? I don't agree with you.
My only issue with Indiana, I don't care what conference they're in. Let's just erase conferences, okay? I know you can't, but let's just do it for fun. Let's just pretend here. Indiana this year will only play one ranked team.
Not their fault.
But they'll only play one ranked team.
That by the time they got to Nebraska, they were stinking because Nebraska was ranked.
But I'm just telling you,
UCLA wasn't ranked when they got to them.
So let's say right now, hypothetically, Alabama or Ole Miss tomorrow are going to play Indiana, and you, my friend, have to take your life savings and bet it on one team or the other.
No, that'd be. I would need.
No, it's a very honest question.
But that doesn't make it right. I could bet on either one.
What's your answer?
That doesn't mean that the other one can't win.
I know you want to.
Do it, Carey.
I can't win. That doesn't mean they can't. Indiana, damn it.
No, that's a lie.
Come
Indiana.
on.
Okay, great. You and I, we're going to have a bet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Indy, I already owe you $5.
I'll take Ohio State. You got Indiana. You believe in Indiana? I got it.
I do. You asked me against Alabama or Ole Miss.
Yeah, but you lied.
Did I?
You wouldn't do. There's
Did
no
I
way.
lie?
Yes, you did.
Did I lie?
I saw your nose growing.
But in a year of upsets, I feel like Indiana could win though. Like in a year of
That's what I'm
upsets.
saying.
Because are these teams
you still-
actually as good as they are, or are we just saying they're good because we look to the past?
Well, so that's a good point. But if we're going to take this and say Indiana versus, and that, I think the discussion is Indiana versus one of these one-loss SEC schools or two-loss? Two-loss. Okay. The problem with Indiana is that they don't have a win against Georgia. They don't have
They
a win
didn't play
against
Georgia. They haven't played them.
I know.
Well, let's see what happens when they play
They
Ohio
played
State.
Western Illinois. They played FIU. They played UCLA. They played Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska, Washington, Michigan State, and Michigan. If Ole Miss had that schedule, Ole Miss would be the number one team in the nation. You know, Indiana has got to prove itself against Ohio
Because
State.
Ole Miss started in the top 25. Indiana did not. Indiana has
Why is
climbed
that?
their
Why is
way
that?
from a non-ranked team
this is a
to a
garbage
top
schedule.
5 team.
And I like Indiana.
I can't. All I can do is play the teams you put in front of me.
I know.
Paddling. Look at him paddling.
That's all I can do.
You're right, but the conversation is now Ohio State, and if they lose to Ohio State, well, they're number 2 team, but you have nothing to fall back on. You have Charlotte.
Okay, if they lose to Ohio
That's a big
State
game.
and it's a close game, you cannot tell me, and it's at Ohio State, you cannot tell me that they don't deserve to be in the college football playoff with one loss over a team that has 2 losses in the SEC.
So who would that be? Who would the 2-loss team
Miss.
be? Okay, so let's
Ole Miss
look at
are
Ole
Way
Miss.
better team than Indiana.
How do we say
have
that?
you watched the games?
I have. How do we just say that just without even thinking about it? Like they lost to Kentucky at home. Ole Miss did. Kentucky is 4-6. How do we just say that Ole Miss? Oh, they're better. They're better.
Hey, Carey.
Ole Miss and
better.
LSU, neither of them are ranked at this moment. LSU was ranked. They lost at LSU. They lost to Kentucky at home.
Yep.
And you can tell me, without even thinking twice, that Ole Miss is a better team. You can't. That to me is crazy talk.
I have no problem saying
I mean, look at
It's crazy.
What about the ACC? Like the ACC isn't that good. Who has Miami played?
Nobody.
They haven't played anybody either.
But they're going to have.
But
They're
they're
only
gonna
going to
have the
have
conference.
one team in.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They're only gonna
Whoever
have
the
one.
ACC team is, that's it. That's all
For
you're
sure.
going to get. Because March, the ACC stinks
Same
this
thing
year.
with the Big 12.
Same thing with Big 12.
Correct. So they're a one, and those 2 conferences are a one and done. The conversation is Big Ten, Indiana specifically versus
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss or
Tennessee has
Alabama
better.
even.
Tennessee has better losses. Well, they lost to Arkansas. They were at Arkansas and they lost to number 12 Georgia. Like they have 2 losses as well.
This is going to be the
Both on
conversation.
the road.
But the Boise, if you look at Boise, they're in the same boat. They've had one game against a ranked team and they lost.
Doesn't matter. They're a group of 5. So.
They're a group of 5.
Remember when I said pretend there's no conferences?
But
This was for
that's
debate,
the thing.
gentlemen.
They went to Oregon and lost by 3 points.
I know.
To the number 1. They weren't number 1 at that time. I think they were
number
top
7.
5.
They were number 7.
They played them to the final whistle. They played a hell of a game and had an opportunity to win that game, which with what I think should be the Heisman
But the rest of their
Trophy
schedule,
winner.
though, is kind of crap.
But you have no control over who you play. What do you do when you play them? And they played the number 7 team, eventually the number 1 team in the country, to the last play of the game, to the last series. So for someone to, on the road, for someone to just say, oh, Indiana lost to Ohio State, they're out. That's crazy
So am
because
I
that would be
hearing-
their only one. That would be their only loss of the season.
Am I hearing you're willing to wager on Indiana?
Yeah.
Quite
the
frankly,
wager?
Indiana's going to make it.
quite frankly, I hope that Indiana beats Ohio State.
And then Ohio State and
I do.
Indiana are in.
But if you lose, it's tough to fall back on their current resume. Yeah, it's all weighted, right?
But it goes into how does
is,
it
it's all
look?
weighted.
We were just saying Georgia was terrible like 2 weeks ago.
They are. Well,
Well.
they were in Ole Miss. They were, but
So we're throwing that game out?
no, not at all.
Get 'em,
Do you
Marshall.
want to talk about Georgia right now?
Let's talk about them.
Okay, Georgia right now.
You know what? I'll say this. I think they have a good team. I think their quarterback is terrible.
Carson Beck.
Terrible, that's a strong word.
Quarterback
So,
just happens to
He
be the
had the
most
best
important
game he's
position.
had all year, I
They
think.
lost
last
at
week.
Alabama and they lost at Ole Miss. So those are the two losses. What do they have to fall back on? That's my point about Indiana. They have a win over Clemson. They have a win over number 1 at the time, Texas. And they have a win over number 7, Tennessee. That's 3 top 15 teams.
And they beat Kentucky by
and
1
2
point.
top 10 teams.
What's your problem with Kentucky?
But they have a win against Kentucky.
4-6.
So what does that matter?
That it matters. They should have lost that game.
It's what is the resume? What's the resume?
The point I'm trying to make to you all is at any given time, any one of these teams are beatable. Vanderbilt shows that against Alabama.
I agree.
So for people to just assume that Indiana, they haven't played anybody. Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Like,
Yes.
Kentucky
What do they have?
beat
What does
Ole
Indiana?
Miss.
What does Indiana have to fall back on?
They are
Maryland?
number 5 in the country.
Charlotte?
So let me ask you this:
Western
is Vanderbilt
Illinois?
better than Indiana?
Is Vanderbilt? No.
Well, they haven't
Is
played.
Kentucky better than
Well, you don't
Indiana?
know.
No.
They haven't played.
So if Kentucky can beat the team that they beat and Vanderbilt can beat the team that they beat, how can you tell me that Indiana cannot beat them either?
I'm not saying, but that's not the conversation, CD. The conversation
That's the point, though.
No, it's not. The conversation is these. At some point, the committee has to figure out who they're going to put in the college football playoff, right? So what do they have to go on? They have to go on the regular season. And the regular season for Indiana has been...
One loss if they lose to Ohio State. I concur.
What is the win? What's the big win?
What's the loss?
Ohio State. Okay,
Where are
you
they
have a
ranked?
good loss. What has the committee has shown us? The committee has shown us it's about your wins.
But they're blowing teams out.
They're beating the brakes off.
Other
people.
than Michigan, they have blown teams
but those
out.
teams
They should.
suck.
The teams are terrible. Again, I hope Indiana beats Ohio State. I really do, because Indiana's a fun team. But if we're talking about from the committee and what they're going to do and how they're going to rank these teams, you don't have a good win.
You all are making my blood boil.
Nah, not you, Carey.
This is going to be fun. We'll see what happens
This is
tonight.
why you have
I'd like to
12
see
teams.
just how
Yes.
hot it can get.
My blood
One of these days, the top of your head's going to pop off.
It might
All right.
be.
What's
Oh, Marshy's did it too. Look at
I'm on Carey's side. Like,
Man.
I'm on Carey's side.
So if
I just
Indi-
think
so if
that these
Indi-
teams,
so all
these teams are
Indiana-
living on their names.
so all Indiana has to do? Well, okay, but Marsh, we're talking about like 9 different conversations. Your point is, and correct me if I'm wrong. Your point is, these top teams this season aren't elite. They're not great, right?
Yeah, they're not.
They're living off pass. I agree. If the conversation though is about Indiana and where they rank and whether or not they're a playoff team, what parameters do you use?
I'm looking at how does it look? What does it look like?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But wouldn't it automatically look better against crap teams?
But if you're blowing teams out, it's better than beating them by like 7 points. Like you're doing your
Depends
job.
how bad that team is.
This team hasn't this team's not going to have a serious schedule because they haven't been. They're not a football school, and they're building a program,
And they've beaten every team they played.
and they've beaten every team they played. And
I don't know. I don't
Beat
know.
Ohio State
They played St. Charles College, I think.
That's ridiculous.
52-7.
You guys are.
If they beat Ohio State,
have a football team.
we're good. The conversation's over.
So
with.
if
What if they lose though? What if they lose?
How bad do they lose?
They lose by a touchdown on the last drive.
Then we got to look
They
at the
are
resume.
still
Then I'm fine with that. If they lose by a touchdown, I'm like, okay, they're a pretty good team. But if they lose by 21,
If you
like they
get
probably
beat by
will.
30 at Ohio State, that's problematic.
All right. We shall see. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun week. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. What's trending is next. I love Happy Roof Company. They do a fantastic job of providing different options for people, whether you got a leaky roof, an old roof, a damaged roof, an ugly roof, whether you want to just fix your issue or if you want to go with a completely new roof. The Happy Roof Company needs to be your first call. If you call today, they will have someone to look at your issue within 24 hours. They do residential and commercial roofing. They only use superior high-end products, and they don't chase storms. They're not one of these companies that come in and out of certain areas looking to make a quick buck, and then before you know it, you got an issue within a couple of years, and the warranty is not strong because you don't know where the company is now. Now with the Happy Roof Company, when it comes to their market, 100% of their market is in St. Louis and the surrounding areas. Their headquarters is located in Sunset Hills, so you know that 10-year labor warranty on all shingle roofs, it's going to hold up. Financing options are available. They have over 50 years combined experience in roofing, siding, and gutters, an A+ rating with the BBB, cost-effective solutions on flat roofing and metal roofs with free estimates and competitive pricing. TheHappyRoof.com is where you check them out online and give them a call, 314-665-3001. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's The Happy Roof Company.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending.
Carey and I.
Do you guys have something you would like to share with the class?
Yeah, Carey and I, Anthony, in the break. Carey lost a bet to me yesterday.
You want to tell him what the bet was that I lost?
Yeah, I can't even believe you went there. But my great friend, Tracy Bibb from the Bibb Agency, she always in season says, go Blues or go Cardinals at the end of our little chats. And Carey doubted Tracy yesterday. Said because they lost. She's like, Dad, she's not going to say go Blues. She'll say something else. I said,
Cards.
$5. No chance. No chance Tracy Bibb doesn't say go Blues.
Yeah.
So she says go Blues. So Carey owed me $5, which I said to myself, I'll probably never see. So today we doubled it up. I said, what's the spread in the Ohio State-Indiana game? It's 13.5. I said, I'll take Ohio State for the $5 that you owe me.
Okay.
With the spread.
All right. Double or nothing.
There you go.
That reminded me, so in college, my roommate, we had this pick'em thing, very similar to what we're doing with the Rizzuto show. And he claimed that I owed him $4. So $4. And I said, I don't owe you. And he put it in my Venmo. And I went 5 years without sending him this $4 just because I knew it made him mad. Wow. And then he got married, and when I ended up giving him money, I gave him the normal amount of money for a wedding,
sure.
and then I added $4 to it. And I said, congratulations on getting married. Here's your $4 for the pick'em. It took like 5 years, though, but I waited for the perfect time.
That's cool.
He laughed so hard. It was awesome.
That's neat.
Quick question. What is the right amount for a wedding?
That's a good question.
Depends on where you are in life, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like if you're a college student.
college kid, man, $50 is probably okay. If you're
like to gift someone $50?
Yeah, if you're a college kid now, if you're
or nothing if you're a college kid. If you're struggling.
Yeah, but if it has to be a percentage of like your net worth, then I'm inviting all the richest people I know.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
I mean, that's what you guys are describing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's typical like either $50 or $100 a plate.
Usually, I thought what you usually pay what your plate is.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Is that what that is?
So what if they have a buffet? That's like $12 a plate.
816 says
Guys, I'm
what
just
you
trying
can
to figure
afford
it out.
is what is correct.
Yeah, I agree with
If it's
that.
$250, if it's $500, if it's $100, it's $10.
I mean, if you're in a good spot in life, maybe you're rolling a little bit.
Yeah, that's how you get into a bad spot in life.
Very true.
Rolling
but
in
if
the Benjamins.
if it's your a close friend or a family member or something like that, and you want to throw them $250,
Do you prefer to give the
$500.
cash or find something on the registry? So that's my dilemma, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Now you're like, I'm going to give him $100 cash, but then you go find something on the registry is like $65. So like, what do you do? Add in the cash?
I think registry is fine. If you do something on the registry.
Yeah, but then you're taking the easy way out.
Are you?
Yeah,
they
because you're
put it
spending
on there.
$60 instead of $100 that you're going to give them.
They put it on there.
They're like,
They
take the
needed
damn
it.
blender back. Give me the money.
Well, wouldn't they take that money and go use it on the blender anyways?
So, maybe not.
They might. They may
Might
not.
go take it to the casino.
Sometimes people make registries of like some crazy stuff. Like, if we get it, great.
Yeah.
MD20, $50 is usually the go-to in our house. We just, Andy said we just went to a wedding this past week and gave $100, immediate family $100 most likely. Yeah, I think anywhere from 50 to 100 is kind of standard. Now, if it's a family member or somebody close friend or something like that, that's a
what
little
if it's a
different.
family member you don't really like them?
Then you shouldn't go to the wedding.
Yeah.
Do you feel obligated
25.
to go to the wedding
You
if
don't
you're
like 'em?
invited?
So, no, I don't feel obligated if I have another commitment. But let me ask you this. When you're invited to the wedding, do you feel like an ass if you don't go to the ceremony, but you show up for like the open bar dinner?
Oh, you're terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
I see a lot of people do that.
I agree.
I get into the church because I try like 99% of the time I'll be in the church for the ceremony because I feel like, okay, this is the marriage.
This is the party.
Like the party after is
It's
like
a celebration.
fun.
Yeah.
But then like a couple of weddings I've been to in the last couple of years, like the church or whatever, the event's kind of empty-ish. And then you show up, there's like 400 people at the party.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's-
what?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Come on.
Step
do
up,
that.
go to both. Now, if you can't, fine. But
Yeah, if you can't.
If you
but at
can't,
least,
then don't come party.
yeah, or maybe at least say, hey,
yeah, but what if you want to go to that? What if you're able to go to that?
Well,
Why can't you come to the wedding?
Well, what if you have you're coaching your son's football
Okay.
team? You have a flag football tournament or football tournament somewhere else, but it's a morning game that you have, and the ceremony's close to noon. Let's say you can't quite get back, but the dinner starts at like 4 or 5.
You can make that.
And you can
I'd
make
give
that.
them-
400 people doing that?
Well, no.
yeah.
I don't think that people would necessarily care, though. I think that they just want you to be there.
Oh, I took inventory. No, I didn't.
I agree, Marsh. I think they'd be fine with it. They just want you to have fun and be there and whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm with Carey on this. It's kind of a go to both. You just commit to both. You scumbag.
That's well said.
Yeah.
Kasperi Kapanen, who is, we know now that he was waived by the Blues. He is now claimed by the Edmonton Oilers. This is a good fit for Kasperi Kapanen.
Yeah, I mean, that team needs some more speed. Like, that's the one thing the Oilers a couple of years ago were young and speed and all that stuff, and then they changed their roster completely to they're the oldest team in the NHL now. At like 29 and a half years is their average age. So with that comes slowing down a little bit. You know, Carey, you don't like old people, and that's what they do. They slow down. Carey talked about it a lot yesterday. You can go
He was all over that
You can
topic
download the
yesterday.
podcast and have a listen for yourself. Brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto, of course. I think it's a great fit for Kasperi Kapanen. I mean, why not? If it doesn't work in Edmonton, then they'll waive him again and move on. But I hope it works for him, man. He's a really good guy. He's a great teammate. I'm hoping for success for him.
I want to go back to this wedding thing because we got a text from the 314, and I also saw this and thought this was absolutely insane. There's a story about a couple that spent $65,000 on their wedding and only got $3,000 worth of gifts and were extremely upset.
That you can't be upset. Don't spend that amount of money if you can't just bank on like you know you're going to get something, but to try to match it up like that, that's on you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're spending that much money on your wedding, you should probably have enough money to be okay with spending that much money.
Don't go into it. Like, I can tell you from my first wedding, I spent a lot of money. A lot.
Yeah.
Close to what they're saying. Close. And but the expectation was not that I'm going to get it back. The expectation was like, I'm going to throw this big baller party.
Right.
So there were 270 wedding guests. So that would equel about $11 per person.
Wow.
Does that change things?
No, it still doesn't change me, but that sucks.
Sting a little bit?
That stings. The average got to be.
Somebody here on the text line said, damn, the Oilers got us back.
That's really funny. For Broberg and Holloway. That's pretty good.
It's kind of like a trade.
It's kind of
I think we're
part
already
of
in
the
our
trade.
ends,
It's
yeah.
like a trade now.
Yeah, we added Kapanen to the trade.
There you go.
There you go. All right, that'll do it for us. That'll do it for what's trending, I should say. Blues first line and depth. We'll get into that conversation. What does the first line look like now with Robert Thomas back? What's the depth look like? We'll get into it here on 101 ESPN. 3:02, your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. The
Daylight
Blues.
savings?
Yeah,
Is it
almost.
5 o'clock?
Feels like it in here today. Yeah.
Coming from you. You're
What?
throwing your food all over the
that
studio.
was hilarious.
I didn't realize the lid wasn't all the way on. There was crap everywhere. I was so hungry, too.
Like when our children make a mistake, you're like, oh.
It was like when the garbage disposal kicks the food back
like
up.
everything comes.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It was-
whoa.
I imagine I had the same face yesterday when Jamie talked about boxing.
Oh, yeah.
The workout he does.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
I do that.
Every day.
Every day.
It's not the speed bag, though. It's the heavy
No.
bag.
Yeah. So how does the Blues first line affect the team's depth? Robert Thomas is coming back. Morning
Yeah.
line skates versus Minnesota. Here they are. Buchnevich, Thomas, and Kyrou. Saad, Shen, Neighbors. Toropchenko. Foxa, Walker, Bolduc, Holloway, and Texier.
Okay, before we
You
go
wanna
any
tell-
further,
You should have had VK and Alex come in here and tell this too. Go ahead.
let
tell
me
them.
set the stage. CD is so proud of himself. I don't know if he went home, stayed up late, got
I
after
did it yesterday during the show.
and he scribbled lines together.
Yeah.
And he came in. First thing he said to me today, shaking this paper in my face. I thought I owed him money. He's like, look at, I'm the hockey god. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, Carey, you can take over from here.
So actually, I wrote this yesterday during the show. This is our outline from yesterday, right? I came in during BK and Ferrario and actually went into the trash to get it out of the trash.
Wow.
That's what you said. I just went in the trash to get this. I'm like,
Was it
like,
trash or
dude, I got
recycling?
recycle. It was
Okay,
recycle.
all
Dude, I got
That's-
$5.
That's
It was the
that's
recycle.
not as bad.
So I went and got it, and I almost had it. I did pretty good, though. I had Neighbors and Booch on the same line. They weren't.
With Thomas.
With Thomas. And I had Holloway at center with Bolduc, and I had Shen and Saad together. And the only one I had Joseph instead of Texier.
Yeah. You did good, Carey. I'm
did
proud of
damn
you.
good.
You know what I'm more proud of?
Tell me.
I'm proud that you cared enough to write it down.
I wrote it down,
You
Jamie.
did.
Nice
And
job,
I cared enough to write it down, and then I cared enough to come in
back
here
and get it.
and come get it.
Interrupt another show.
I did.
And
Yeah.
go through the garbage.
I definitely did.
Well done.
Tanner
right
was
there.
doing his update, and I was in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Live in a trash can.
as far as the depth,
On Sesame Street.
oh, yeah. As far as the depth is considered, who cares right now? You need to score.
I care about the Blues.
No, but who cares about depth? Because you need to score goals. The biggest concern they had coming this season, well, we don't load up the one line and then we're all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Score goals.
Just go create offense.
Some way, somehow.
Yeah, some way,
Yeah.
somehow.
Load
And
up the first line, load up the two lines, don't load or whatever, just score.
if you look at the end of last season, when Thomas, Booch, and Kyrou played together, there was offense, but then you also had really good success from Shen, Saad, and Neighbors. They finished the season together. Neighbors was on a tear. And you know what I love? I love the kid line. I love the kid line they put together. Texier, Holloway, and Bolduc. Hey, boys, go get them.
Yeah.
We're taking the shot collars off. Go, run. Let them friggin' go. Those three are going to be a nightmare for somebody because they're going to be unpredictable. They've got a ton of speed. They've got scoring ability. Will they make mistakes? Yeah, of course. That's what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
But you know what? They'll learn from that. But they might create 4 or 5 scoring chances and give up 2.
Yeah.
I'll take that. And then I do like the Foxa, Toropchenko, Walker line. They've been extremely solid through the whole season whenever they've been together. I like the lineup right now. Do I think it's an automatic win? No, Minnesota's having a hell of a year. They've only lost 3 games in regulation, so that's a pretty good squad. But I like the line combinations.
I think Booch, I said it earlier, him going back to the wing, I think the experiment of him playing center, it was a great idea. I don't think it worked out in the way that they thought it would. Face-offs, you talked about the how winning face-offs matters because you keep it in the O zone or you get the possession when you're in the defensive zone and just not good enough. And putting him back on the wing, I think, will put him in a position to be more of what he is, the best version of himself. I understood putting him there at center because you needed that position. But now, you were able, with Robert Thomas being injured, to see other people play the center position. And now you can put Booch back on the wing, and I think you're going to get the best out of him.
Yeah, I agree. You're right, Jamie. It doesn't really matter how they set this thing up. It doesn't matter about the scoring depth. They just have to find something that works right now. They're not scoring. They're not great on the power play at all. In fact, they're 29th. We
Not the worst,
celebrate
Anthony.
that. you got to figure out how to simplify things, stop turning the damn puck over, have seamless transitions in and out of your zones, and find a way to get in front of the net and score. There's no magic. It's funny. Jamie, I feel for you because I think a lot of people, and maybe CD and I do this to you too, when we're asked, hey, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? How do you do this? How do you do that?
Why don't they do this?
And your answer is basically,
I don't know.
Well, let's go over kind of the fundamentals of hockey. Let's talk about, when the puck goes in your offensive zone, hemming the other team in there, possessing the puck, cycling it, not too many passes, get somebody in front of the net to pick up some of the loose change, or maybe deflect one in. When you get your power play opportunities, 1-2 pass, shoot, go. It really does fall back onto a lot of things that you talk about from a game-to-game basis.
Yeah.
Your keys to victory. It's kind of the same.
That's why sometimes I come in here, I tell you guys, I'm exhausted. Everybody's asking me the same question.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't have the answer because there is no answer.
Right.
Like, why don't they score first? Well, the other team scored first. What do you mean? Why don't they score first?
What do you want from me?
Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Even if I was the head coach, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Play this guy. Okay. Did he score? No, the other team still scored first. Damn, that didn't work.
Yeah. Try another thing.
That's
I don't envy Drew Bannister, but it is his job to figure it out.
Listen, it's absolutely his job to figure it out. And the thing that people have to know is internally, like, they have a plan. Mm-hmm. They know what's going on. They understand the dynamic. They have all the stats to either back up what they're saying or to debunk what they're thinking. They have everything at their disposal. And they go in there and they tell the team, or they design certain plays or systems, and they build their lineup to score and win hockey games. But after that, nobody can go and play for the players. The players have to go and execute said game plan. Mm-hmm. If the game plan doesn't work because the coaches put the wrong plan together, guess what? The coaches will know that based on the success rate in every category that they look, the major categories. Shots on goal, 4. Shots on goal against. Dangerous goals or chances for, dangerous chances against. There you go.
Yeah.
Time in offensive zone, time in defensive zone. All of those stats right there tell you, you can look at those 99 times out of 100 and know which team won without even knowing the score.
Right. What do they do consistently well? Like, out of the things that you have seen thus far, what do they do consistently well?
Well, I think
that is something you might be able to lean on.
Yeah, I think the problem is that there's a lack of consistency. But is that attributed to the players, the systems, or the injuries?
Yeah.
Because when they started the season and they had a full squad, they were pretty consistent with a good forecheck and they were playing tight defensively. That was kind of their model. But then when you lose 3 of your top 6 defensemen, like, what are you going to do?
Right.
Things change, Mox, and you lose your top scorer, your best playmaker, your best all-around forward, you lose him. So things change. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So even though the thought process and the strategy stays the same, the results may not mimic that because you don't have the same staff doing that.
Right. Tonight, Blues versus Wild. The pregame starts right here on 101 ESPN at 6 o'clock. We'll cover the game and have that all for you as well, of course, right here on the home of the Blues, Blues Radio Network, 101 ESPN. I want to ask you guys I want to get into a conversation about the Chiefs and whether or not a lot of the things that, Carey especially, you have questioned about the Chiefs, whether or not you will have a different feeling when it's in January. That's next on 101 ESPN. Chiefs lost for the first time this season on Sunday. Yeah, Boston and Buffalo. Carey, you knew that was going to happen.
Best team than ever.
You've been calling for the Chiefs to lose.
No, I haven't been calling for it.
Here's my question. And look.
I thought
Ibarra?
I was sliding back. He was pulling me.
Jamie was pulling you back.
I
Yeah.
was like, why is my chair moving?
Jamie's been holding you back for a long time. Marsh and I have been
He's
talking
trying.
about this.
He's trying.
Finally, we caught it on camera. Carey, even though, look, in all seriousness, we can all agree that the Chiefs are a flawed team. They're also, if they make another run here, they're going to be going for their third Super Bowl. So, will you feel the same way you do now about the Chiefs in January?
It depends on what they look like offensively. I think.
Let's say they look the exact same.
No, because I think it's hard to win. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest. Will probably go down as the greatest quarterback to play this game. I don't know if he's there yet. That's up for debate. People can argue that, but I think he will go down as that. I don't think that this version of this team, without Rashee Rice, without a big time playmaker downfield, offensively can make this happen. Defensively, they've been playing lights out. I think that was the first game in 30 games that they allowed 28 points or more. That defense has been playing outstanding. If you're allowing teams, if you're keeping teams under 3 or 4 touchdowns, you're probably going to win. In the past, with this Kansas City offense, this is not the same version of them. Now, Isaiah Pacheco, he gets back. I don't know what he looks like. He's missed 8 weeks at this point, 6 to 8 weeks. He's missed a lot of time. Kareem Hunt has been doing a pretty good job, but the explosive plays are what I'm talking about. Like, you have to be able to get big chunks, and right now they are not a team that is capable of getting big chunks. Xavier Worthy is a guy that can, but he misses, and they miss him on those big plays. Now, maybe that changes. Maybe that shifts, but I don't think that the offense that they have, because, again, I would force you to throw the ball short, not in zone coverage, because they got guys that are smart enough to find windows. If you rush 3 or 4, you give Patrick Mahomes all day, he's going to find a window, and they do a good job. Man-to-man, blitz a guy, create a mismatch, bring more than they can cover, more than they can protect, and see if they can get to a spot where they're open. That's what I would do. And eventually, defensively, they bring a lot of blitzes. That you live on the edge long enough, you're gonna get bit. So, I just don't think that where they are right now, they're capable of winning a Super Bowl.
So I just think that both things can be true. They do lack that explosiveness. There's no question about it. I mean, you watch the games, they lack the explosiveness. You look at the numbers, they lack the explosiveness. But can they still win methodically? Yeah. And they play complementary football, which means you have to beat them in all 3 phases and also be creative enough to get one past Andy Reid and Spags at some point during a game. That's difficult to do. In fact, the 9 previous teams before Buffalo who played Kansas City could not do that. They either lost in special teams or they lost on defense or they lost, they failed getting to Mahomes or keeping him out of the end zone.
Huh?
Or the referee calling. But clearly they can win methodically. They play in so many close games that Mahomes, given the ball last, is gonna beat you, or given the ball in overtime first, is going to beat you. So I still think that they can win a Super Bowl, even if they look like this. It'll be more difficult. We'll doubt them. But I still think that in January, I'm going to feel the same way I do now, which is they can absolutely win their third Super Bowl.
This is the best AFC team, in your opinion? Hands down. Nobody has a chance.
No, I'm not saying nobody has a chance. Like, nobody has a chance in the NFC. The Lions are going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
You keep sleeping on the Eagles. That's crazy.
I don't have to sleep on the Eagles.
Yeah,
I know who
you
their
are.
head coach is. The Lions will pummel the Philadelphia Eagles if they face each other in the NFC Championship game. Pummel.
Players make plays.
Like a Bronco on a Falcon.
Oh boy. Anthony, you've beat that Falcon enough.
Just stomping on the bird wings.
Enough beating of the dead Falcons.
Nothing left of it.
Why didn't it just fly away?
He tried.
Clipped wings. Tried. Bronco grabbed it with its teeth. Wow. Slammed it back down. Tried to get the talons up.
Not happening.
It's not much.
Horseshoe to the beak.
Falcon versus a horse is not much of a matchup. Like, if the bird can't fly away or doesn't fly away, then the bird deserves what it gets.
Yeah. And that's what we saw last Sunday
Yep.
in Denver. Anyways, Jamie, what about you? Does your feelings change on the Chiefs, recognizing the flaws now, but does it change based on January? Like if we're in January right now.
Yeah. Look, I think that I personally believe it's going to come down to Chiefs-Bills in the AFC Championship game. I do. And I just have a hard time not trusting Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I don't. Like, if Pittsburgh had a better quarterback, Carey, and I know that Russell Wilson is fine. And Justin Fields, they've done everything they can. Mm-hmm. But if the Steelers had Joe Burrow, let's just play a game.
Oh, it'd be over.
Then I would pick the Steelers out of the AFC.
Can we have Jamar Chase, too?
No.
Because
No, you get what you get. Don't throw a fit. Remember that one, Carey?
I do.
Yeah.
I just gave you friggin' Joe Burrow.
Right, and then he wants more.
I'm greedy. What do you expect?
I know, but come on,
Give me both.
Be fair, please. Okay. But no, I think that the Chiefs are the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. Again, I just do. Now, when they get to the Super Bowl against my Lions, they're going to get worked, but that's okay.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, watch.
One Dan Campbell fake punt, and all of a sudden.
But what if it works?
But what if
you're always negative?
Doesn't.
Don't be negative.
I saw a fake punt last night that did not work.
Yeah, but how about some of those other plays? It did work.
Yeah.
They're already up. When Lions did not last night, but when they're already up by like 25 points.
Yeah, they're just practicing at that point.
The Lions
playing
are
backyard
explosive.
football at that point.
The Lions are explosive. They can score in a variety of ways. It's fun to watch. Kansas City, not so much. They struggle. And if you can get off the field on third down, but you got to score. Like you can't have, get them off of the field and then your offense goes out there and goes 3 and out. Mm-hmm. You need to limit the amount of opportunities that Patrick Mahomes has. And right now, the way that they're set up, if you limit those opportunities, it's going to be hard for them to win. For me, it's just about being patient enough if you're the opposing team, offensively being patient enough, scoring on drives, finishing drives with a touchdown, at worst, a field goal. And if you do that, that's going to create more pressure on them. I thought Buffalo played, the game plan that they had was perfect. You don't give Patrick Mahomes the ball back. It's 4th and 2. We're up, a field goal ain't going to save us. Mm-hmm. We're going to go try to pick up this first down or score. And he scored a touchdown. And now it's out of reach. It's over. So I think if you can keep them behind, they're not explosive enough to win games. It's when the other team doesn't apply pressure by scoring touchdowns and allowing them to stay within one score. If that team gets down in the past, if the Chiefs got down by 2 touchdowns, 10 points, it is what it is. They get down by 10 points in the fourth quarter, the game should be over. Because now it's too hard for them to get back into the game. They are too methodical. There's not enough explosive plays. It will take them the entire quarter to score 10 points.
But you got to get up first.
But you got to get up
and
first.
Teams have not.
That's the caveat. You got to get up, apply pressure to them, and see if they can score quickly enough. They haven't shown me that they're capable of doing that for the most part.
You got to get up to get down. Is what I've been told. You know what I mean? You have to get up to get down.
Get up, get down. 911 is joking.
Do you know?
Oh, yeah, that's J. Cole.
No.
That's Flavor Flav.
It's Public Enemy. Yeah.
Who is J. Cole?
He's a rapper from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fayetteville.
Went to Central Michigan.
I doubt it.
I think he was a Wake guy.
A what?
Wake.
Oh.
Like Wake Forest.
Wake Forest? That's in Winston-Salem. Now you guys know.
Thank you.
All right. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN.
Via radio. Oh, yeah. Now you know.
Now you know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's Maction tonight, guys.
What?
Yeah, Central Western weekend. You guys excited?
Central Western weekend?
Yes, it's Central
Michigan versus Western.
It used to be Central
Michigan?
Western weekend, but now it's Central Western.
Because they playing in Maction.
Correct.
So it can't be weekend. It has to be week.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. What's the spread for our Chippewas?
Fix your damn mic.
What's wrong with it?
It's buzzing.
There.
Buzzing, cousin.
Yeah. Do you not hear the buzzing?
I don't think he does.
How do you not hear it?
Every damn day.
I hear it's like, my ears.
I usually do adjust the mic.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it
the
there.
The problem is you play with it so damn much, it's just making noise all the
fiddling
time.
with it all the
He
time.
always is
He's
fiddling.
fiddling.
Look,
Just
you
fiddle.
guys have a mic like this?
No.
Well, it's because you keep
all over the
touching
place.
it. The more you touch it, the more it's going to go up, Anthony.
I know.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, my God. Go to a break.
That's actually
It's
not his
fizzing.
fault.
Thank you, Carey.
It's not
I
his fault.
appreciate that.
It's
Thank
not.
you.
Touching it 100 times a day?
He does
I
have,
have to adjust the mic.
And sometimes at
You
some
gotta
point that becomes a
adjust.
problem.
No, you got to adjust, Jamie.
But how much adjusting is too
As
much?
much as needed.
Thank you, Carey.
Yeah, but when does it become something more
When
than
somebody
adjusting?
says something about it.
Yeah, like we did. We've identified it, okay? Enough.
Enough adjusting. Already.
Seriously.
So what's your problem today?
I don't know.
Did you tell me what the spread was?
6.
What? You favored?
No. With a third string quarterback? No. I'm surprised it's not more.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're down to our third string quarterback.
That's
the
my
Chips.
choice,
Yeah.
Anthony.
All right, we're going to talk to Lindy Noel, who's going to join us next. 2024 Musial Awards is coming up. In a couple of days, we're actually going to talk to, oh, by the way, the Bruins have just fired Coach Jim Montgomery.
Yeah, that's interesting, man.
Wow.
Very interesting because Jim Montgomery's got the best winning percentage in the NHL for the last 2.5 years.
So maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But Lindy is receiving a Musial Award for her selflessness or compassion or courage. Brief summary. When it comes to like looking at the Musial Awards, that's what those three things, it kind of encompasses everything. Larry Fitzgerald is actually going to join us in a couple of days, but we're going to talk to Lindy Noel next. We'll talk to her about her journey and what it means to be selfless and compassion and courage and have that be in the sports realm. Lindy Noel next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club, it's a fantastic spot for me as an individual, but also the family, too. I love taking the family down the Missouri Athletic Club where, each individual kid, sign them up for certain things. They've got summer camps that go on. They've got the pool open during the summertime, but even during the wintertime, depending on what month it is, if it's October, they got trunk or treat. November, they've got something going on for Thanksgiving. December, obviously, they got breakfast with Santa and things like that. There's always something for the family at the Missouri Athletic Club, and I enjoy involving my family in it because, again, there's always that event that kind of brings us together each and every month, and it's all thanks to my MAC, the Missouri Athletic Club.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Robert Thomas is back, and he is in the lineup tonight as the Blues take on the Minnesota Wild. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk later in the show with Joe Vitale, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we are going to talk with Lindy Noel, who is receiving a Musial Award for her selflessness, compassion, and courage. We'll hear her story next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Well, as Marsh just noted in the Sports Center update, the 2024 Musial Awards is quickly coming up. In fact, it's Saturday, November 23rd at Stifel Theater in downtown St. Louis. And one of the people that will be honored will be Lindy Noel, who is our next guest with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Lindy is receiving a Musial Award for her selflessness, her compassion, and courage. And if you don't know her story, tune in because her story is absolutely remarkable. Lindy, who joins us right now via the Callier and Thompson phone line. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Lindy, thank you so much for joining us and taking some time today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Lindy, for those that don't know, you worked for the Blues. You got a 2019 Stanley Cup ring to prove it. Your current position, though, is with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And for those that don't know, your connection with one of the beat writers that covers the Blue Jackets, Aaron Portzline, is quite remarkable. Can you share with our listeners your connection with Aaron and how special it is for you two?
Absolutely. I have been here at the Blue Jackets since 2021, and I work in the communication department. And Aaron, like you said, he's a beat writer, so we have not worked closely, surprisingly, because I don't really handle the team side of things. And last year, he put on social media that he was looking for a kidney because he has polycystic kidney disease. And I decided to go through the testing and found out I was a match. And back in April, I donated my kidney to Cordy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Lindy, I can't even imagine Aaron's surprise because, like you said, you know him, but you're not like a relative. It's not like it's like this long friendship that you've had for decades and things like that. And so, I mean, what was his reaction when you reading through the story here that you grabbed the mic at a press conference and told him this? Like, I mean, I would have broke down, but what was his reaction?
Well, yeah, he did not know that I was going through the testing. He found out that he had a donor and that he had a surgery date. And then we set up like a fake little interview, and I kind of just dropped it on him that I was a donor. And he was very surprised. He did not have words. I believe he said, as a man who uses words for a living, I can't believe I don't have any right now. Wow. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm really, really proud of what I did.
Yeah, Lindy, so I'm just so fascinated by this because, I mean, it is an ultimate act of kindness and selflessness, and let's dive into it from your side of things. You know, you read that from Aaron, and then you go through the testing process, but like at what point was it like, if I'm a match, I'm doing this for sure? Because again, it's not a relative, it's not a friend you've had forever, it's not your college roommate, it's not like, it's someone who you've just come into connection with over the last couple of years. So take us through it from your vantage point.
Well, I think I have a different viewpoint than most, and it wasn't until much later after the surgery that was brought to my attention. But I definitely went into it thinking, if I'm a match, I'm doing this. Like, no questions asked. I was committed. They tell you whenever you sign up to be a donor that you can opt out at any time for any reason. It didn't matter. You weren't locked in against your will. So I did have the options, and I knew I had the options, but they didn't even cross my mind. I had a wonderful support system, though. I have a very loving and supportive fiance, and before I even started the testing, I went to him and said, I want to do this, but I'm not going to do it if you don't feel comfortable with me doing it. And he said, it's scary, but I'm with you 100%. So I'm very fortunate that I had a great support system, and the hospital here, the surgeon and the nephrologist and everybody, they were very informative and educational. So I knew what I was getting into, and maybe I'm just braver than I thought I was, but it didn't seem that scary. It didn't seem that scary to me.
Lindy, congratulations on your Musial Award. And with the selflessness of giving your kidney away and doing that for someone else, I got to know, how does it feel to be receiving all of the attention that you're getting? Because normally that's something where people just kind of do it and don't really like a lot of attention. How have you been feeling with, all of the accolades that have come with the awards that you're winning because of things like that?
Yeah, well, whenever Porty announced that he needed a kidney, the response on social media was enormous. Like, he has been covering the Blue Jackets since day one, so 24 years now, and he's very well known around the industry. So I knew from the get-go that whoever his donor was going to be, it was going to be a big story. And then me working in public relations, I knew that me being the donor was going to be an even bigger story. So it was a little scary because I'm not used to being the story. But I kind of came to grips with it, and Porty had made it his mission to start raising awareness about people becoming donors. So I just latched onto that and said, I will share my story if it means that even one person considers, being a donor, or they put it on their license that they want to donate their organs. It was definitely something that I knew going into this, that it was going to be a big story for sure. But the Musial Award is a great honor. I was not expecting that. It was very flattering and humbling, especially given my time with the Blues. My position there was with the Blues, but also with Enterprise Center and Stiefel Theater. So my cubicle was actually underneath the Stiefel Theater lobby. So I'm really excited to get to go back there on Saturday and take my friends and family to check it out.
That's awesome. I see you also do volunteer work with the Alzheimer's Association. For those that don't know about that disease and how hard it is on family members and people, can you just explain the work that you're doing and have done with them? Because I know it's an extremely important organization and association that can help a lot of people.
Absolutely. I have been supporting them since my college years, so like 15, 17 years now. And it's crazy because I saw it firsthand. I had two grandmothers that, just changed dramatically from their personality to the way that they could hold on a conversation, the way that they were no longer financially independent because they couldn't manage their checkbooks. It's a disease that I think we typically associate that with old age, but then you see people in their 50s and their 60s being diagnosed with it, and it's devastating because they still have their living parents and they still have, young children, in their 20s. So Alzheimer's disease is something that has really kind of hit close to home for me personally, and I've made it kind of like a mission to raise awareness about the disease and raise money and do what I can to help out the local chapter that I'm with now, and then previously the St. Louis and Greater Missouri chapter.
Wow, great for you, Lindy. Lindy Noel is our guest right now. She's going to receive the 2024 Musial Award on November 23rd. That's this Saturday at Stiefel Theater in downtown St. Louis. Lindy, before we let you go, I think we'd be remiss if we did not ask you your favorite moment from the 2019 Stanley Cup Championship, because you were a marketing and communications manager for the Blues from 2017 through 2020. So it's not like you just got there in 2019 and boom, they won a Stanley Cup. You had been there a couple of years prior. So your favorite overall moment from the Cup run?
Oh, well, they happened to be playing the week of my birthday. It was the final round. My birthday is June 7th. So, having a hockey game around them pretty rare. So I got to turn 30, and I had told some local media that I was working with at that time, I was like, all right, for my 30th birthday, I want a ring, a parade, and a cup. And they were all like, wow, like, that's pretty bold. That's like you're kind of asking for the moon there. And I got all three. So I'm not saying I predicted it, but I kind of demanded it.
Yeah. Well said. Blues fans, thank you for that. So, Lindy, your story is absolutely remarkable. We're seeing some of our YouTube comments coming in about the true word of selflessness and everything that you did for Aaron. I know you did that just because, you felt that you wanted to, and you gave up so much. You absolutely deserve this award. Have the best night on Saturday. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your journey. And again, congratulations on an award, well-deserved.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. And I hope to see some faces on Saturday come up and greet me while I'm in the lobby at Cecil Theater.
There you go. Definitely. Absolutely. Thanks, Lindy.
Thank you. Bye.
That's Lindy Noel, again, who used to be marketing communications for the Blues, 2017 to 2020, so she got a ring. She's now with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And if you missed earlier in the show, what we discussed with Lindy is her journey, which was that she realized that one of the beat writers for the Blue Jackets needed a transplant, and she got tested for it. And even though she didn't know him incredibly well, found out she was a match and then gave up her kidney.
That just blows me away. Like, I get it. Like, if, like, one of you guys had that and I, like, tested and was a match, like, oh, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. I got you, you know? And But somebody you don't really know. Like, that's a big sacrifice / commitment at that point. And I'm not saying that I would or wouldn't do. I just, thinking about it, I'm like, wow, like, that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It is like the ultimate act of selflessness.
No doubt.
When you do it for not a stranger, but I mean,
Well,
it's
not
pretty
a
much.
close.
Not a stranger. Yeah.
It's like a business associate.
Right.
Like something like that. It's just different.
Yeah. And I think, Jamie, I appreciate it. I would, the kidney. If Marsh would give up his, I'm just thinking about from like a.
I didn't say my liver.
That's what it is. The old liver.
Well, Jamie's been on the operating table before.
Yeah, who knows what's left in there? I have no idea. If you need a spleen, you're screwed.
Yeah. Makes sense. Our thank you to Lindy, and again, congratulations to her. A Taylorville, Illinois native, so she's from the area-ish, and man, what an incredible story. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We have advice with former athletes next, so if you do have a question for Carey or Jamie regarding anything from their playing days or anything that you currently see now in sports that you want to gain a former athlete's perspective on, send in 314-399-9646. Again, advice with former athletes next. Jamie, I know that you recently had an experience with Stuart. You're purchasing a home, and you have a situation that's unique, just like I would have a situation that's unique, and other people listening right now would call Stuart for a very different reason. How quickly did he get things closed for you with the home?
Well, the process was incredible. And I bought several homes before, used other lenders and whatnot, and it's always so stressful. It just is. I don't know why. They try their best, but it's stressful. I felt none of that with Stewie. He was awesome right away. He talks about that pre-approval letter. He got that right to my real estate agent. She was able to use that. And before you knew it, we were already at loan commitment, which is unreal. And I couldn't have done it without Stewie and his staff over there. They did a fantastic job, and I know that anybody who calls Stewie will get the same kind of treatment.
Absolutely. When you call or text him, he's all about that customer service. So whether you're Jamie and you're calling 314-324-4440, or you're somebody else, same number, by the way. Personal cell phone number. It's not like Jamie called Stewie on the bat phone. He called his personal number, same one we give out all the time, and Stewie got him to the process.
Yeah, he did. And I'll tell a quick story about Stewie. He drove over documents to me. Never mind saying he needed a hand signature. So he drove it to my house. While driving to my house, he popped a tire, hit a flat tire in my driveway, stuck around, whatnot. It was unreal to see that the customer service that he gave me and that he gives all of our 101 ESPN listeners. And again, that number, if you missed it, is 314-324-4440. Or you can always Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Give me some advice, quick.
Advice to former athletes now on 101 ESPN. So if you've got a situation that you want to throw at Carey or Jamie based on something you've seen in sports or something you've always wanted to ask.
Or anything in life. Why not?
Anything in life.
Let's go, baby.
Now's your time. 314-399-9646.
I know what you're thinking.
All right. It's time for... Sorry. We don't try to do the... we always, anytime we have a joke that's related to the fast, and we always want to make sure that we talk about it in case there's new listeners. That one we can't, though, so we do apologize.
Figure it out.
Yeah. It's time for you steaming pile. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Anyways, before we get to the text line, I wanted to bring up a couple firings. So we mentioned earlier in the show that Jim Montgomery has been fired as the head coach for the Boston Bruins.
Thanks, Jamie.
The Jets have fired GM Joe Douglas because the Jets are terrible. As a player, and these are two separate things. I think one guy probably deserves to be fired and the other one probably doesn't.
I'd say you're probably right.
As a player...
One guy brought in Aaron Rodgers.
That's
That's the guy that needs to be
Like I
fired.
said, one guy
Okay.
probably deserves to be fired, the other guy doesn't.
Yeah.
So as a player, though, how do you navigate that from both sides of it? Are you happy that maybe there's some changes? Are you sad that there's some changes? Of course, we've seen this happen here in St. Louis when Craig Berube was fired. A lot of people were up in arms about it. How do you feel that some of those players are feeling right now?
I mean, everybody has a different reaction. I don't know, Carey. I had it happen a couple of times to me, and you know, the first thing like for me, my position within the team. I don't mean like forward or defense, like where I was as far as like third pair defenseman, 6'7" defense. I thought always right away, okay, I better make a good impression quickly on the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to show why I'm here, because every coach that comes in, the first thing they do is they want to bring in their guys. Not their stars, because those are harder to acquire, but their blue-collar guys.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in their fourth liners and their 6'7" defense, because those are guys they trust, and those are the guys they know, and their changes. So for me, whenever there's a coaching change, I immediately wanted to make a good impression on the new coach. I mean, you feel bad for the guy that gets fired, but you literally have no time to think about it. Mm-hmm. You have to get busy doing your job again in a hurry.
I've never been a part of a coach getting fired, you know, in season or out of season. The closest I had was my college coach got fired like 2 years after I left, and I felt responsible. Mm-hmm. I felt horrible. So I think and I called him and apologized, and I had nothing, you know, I wasn't even on the team. Watch it, Jamie.
Sorry about that. I just kicked Carey back to it. I was trying to stretch my hamstring.
You're trying to get him back for having that coach fired.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But I think it just depends on the player. Like, some players may be thrilled with the coaching change, and some players may be sick with the coaching change. So I think it depends on your relationship with that coach. You know, even if you're losing and if you're having a rough time at it, most players know it ain't on the coach. Mm-hmm. Like, players got to play better. Like, you get the game plan, they work with you, and then you got to do your job. And if you don't do your job well enough, you know, people get fired.
Like I said, I think we can understand why the Jets, not the Winnipeg Jets. We had some people texting in. They thought we were talking about no, they're actually a good team.
This is why I say the New York Football Jets or the Winnipeg Hockey Jets.
Yes.
We understand why their GM was fired.
Yeah.
But like with Jim Montgomery, I mean, you mentioned it a previous, you know, a couple segments ago. The guy all he's done is win.
Yeah. It's a weird one. I think a lot of this for me falls on Cam Neely, who's a president of the Bruins. He's a pretty unrealistic dude when it comes to his hockey club, and he expects to win every single game. Like, I know it's one thing to want to win every game, but to expect it's impossible. Mm-hmm. Nobody wins every game in any sport. And he expects that. And so, like, the last 2 seasons, they finished number 1 in the NHL, then I think second in the NHL, and now they're struggling a little bit. But, hey, Cam, why don't you look at the roster construction you've given this guy? You've lost so many of your good players in the last 2 years.
Seriously.
It's not his fault.
Mm-hmm. I think they should get rid of Trent Frederick.
Yes,
and
they should trade
him to the Blues.
They should trade him to the Blues.
They should.
That's a good call, Marshy.
They could retool.
What'd you call Carey?
Yeah,
I don't think it's
unfortunate.
Wait, what?
You said retool. Talking about the team.
Oh, retool. Got
You
it.
didn't say
Marsh, you have another...
Yeah, of course. From the 636, from a former pro athlete's perspective, how much of what got you to the pros was natural ability and how much is hard work? What is the best advice you could give to, say, a 12U hockey player to develop their game?
Well, one, for me, it was I had a certain skill set at a young age where I knew I could skate, stick handle.
Dominate faces.
Yeah, pretty much. But then
And punch 'em.
What's that?
And punch.
Well, not at that age.
You
no.
didn't punch him in the face at that age?
Probably a couple times.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
it definitely happened for sure. If Mumsy's listening, she knows. She had to field all the questions. Why is he so aggressive? But as a young player, even if you're good, you're not good enough. And I know that might sound a little bit like not depressing, but difficult. But I always use, never mind my career, but let's use the Kachuk boys. They were blessed to have a father that played in the NHL. Does that make them automatic NHLers? No, it doesn't. But what it did do is it helped them fuel the fire of wanting to get better every time they touched the ice. And that's the one thing that I took away from working with those guys for so many years is no matter what the practice plan was, they wanted more. They wanted to work harder. They wanted to get better. So for me, it's the drive within you that can help fuel just how good you are as far as your talents are. Yes, you have natural abilities, but nobody is born into being Connor McDavid. Nobody's born into being Nathan McKinnon. You got to work at it. If those guys at 15 years old would have just abandoned ship and just said, that's fine. I got enough talent. They wouldn't be where they are. So it's the hard work part for me.
Yeah, I think, if you're gifted, you're gifted. But I believe the amount of hard work that is required to be successful is what matters. Like you gotta keep going and not, think you're set. You got to work hard. What am I missing? What are you
I
guys
don't
laughing
know.
at?
You started laughing. He started laughing.
Well, I had a little.
Did you have a little vomit?
Nah, it wasn't
He
vomit.
burped.
Did he burp?
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Into the
While
mic.
you're talking, yeah.
I made him sick.
Almost surprised, Carey.
I didn't think anybody heard it.
Yeah.
Anthony looking right through my soul.
I looked over at Anthony. He had this little smirk on his face.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I mean,
What did I
you're
miss?
talking, you're talking some good stuff there, Jamie. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Let's do one more before we get to the Gauntlet. By the way, text in if you want to play the Gauntlet. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. From the 314, my Ask an Athlete is for Anthony.
All right.
Do you believe wearing the gold chains, batting gloves, wristbands, and eye black helped hitting bombs in softball? I love you guys. You're so funny together.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, if you, I always subscribe to the theory that if you looked the part, you played the part. If you looked good, you felt good. So really, these guys can tell you about the hard work, the skill set, the natural God-given ability that they had. I'm more if you have the right wristbands, the right jewelry, the right shades, you can accomplish most things in life.
There's a guy that said, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good.
Yes.
And if you play good, they pay good.
Yeah, that was Dion.
That was him. Yeah,
Yep.
he was. Yeah,
But he was good.
He was.
He absolutely was. Yeah.
And
So
everything.
really, if you can combine all of that together, the skill set, the hard work, the God-given ability, and the flash, you could be Dion. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Gauntlet next.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 403 your time check. Brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We welcome in Alex. What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Appreciate you playing. Thanks for listening. How's your day going?
Oh, not too bad. Just picked the kiddo up, man. Ready to take a win home.
Okay. So kiddo in the car right now?
Yeah, we parked in Snook right now, so we're all good there.
All right, good. Excellent. All right. So good day at school for the young one, and see if Dad can get pick up a win here. Would you like to take on Marsh, Jamie, Carey, or me?
Oh, you know what? Let's do Carey.
Carey Davis.
All right, Alex, good luck.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Carey's going to make his way into the cone of silence. Alice, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Marsh, spin that wheel, buddy.
Alex, what are we hoping for?
Well, since Carey's there, hopefully not football. So I shouldn't have said that.
And our category today, Marsh?
Football.
It is football.
I watched it as it started to slow down. You said, I hope not football. Then the wheel slowed down even more.
You see my face? I'm like,
oh, man.
I listen every day, and I should have known better.
That's all right. You know, you're listening now, but you're on air. It's a little bit different experience.
Maybe you'll know this. It depends what's in your wheelhouse, man.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Alex. So you're going to get 4 football-related questions, each one worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, it's worth 1 point. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Oh, boy. The Pittsburgh Steelers' first Super Bowl win was against which team? We did not plan this.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Carey's going to know this one, so I don't know if I should go with the options. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do the options.
The LA Rams, the Dallas Cowboys, or Marsh's Minnesota Vikings?
You know, let's go with the Vikings. Final answer.
All right. Question 2, Alex. Franco Harris played on that Steelers team. He played for the Steelers for 12 years and with which other NFL team for 1 season?
Let's go ahead and get the options, fellas.
All right. Was it the New York Giants, the Seattle Seahawks, or the Chicago Bears?
Let's go Giants. Final answer.
Thank you.
Question number 3. How many Super Bowls did Fran Tarkenton of my Minnesota Vikings play in? How many Super Bowls?
This is definitely, just reaching on a limb here. Let's go with 2.
Final answer?
Final answer. Sorry about that.
You're good.
All right, Alex. Tarkenton attended the University of Georgia, where he remained second in total passing yards. Named the only quarterback to throw for more yards than Tarkenton in his Georgia football career.
I don't know if Carson Beck is there yet. Let's go with the options, guys.
Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields, or Zeke Bradkowski?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure. Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields, or Zeke Bradkowski?
Let's go with that. Zeke Bradkowski. Final answer.
All right. Let's motion back Carey in from the cone of silence. Alex, how you feeling?
It's a lot tougher on the phone than it is listening to the radio.
Makes sense. We've heard that.
You know what, Alex? That happened to me, too, one time. I was down in Mexico, And they called me. It was a lot tougher over the phone that time.
Yeah. That's because you were hammered.
Yeah, ham sauce.
It may have had something to do with it. Still was difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we got you there.
Yeah.
All right, Carey, your category today is football.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of pressure, though.
It is.
Yeah, I'm the hockey guy.
That's true, yeah.
See how this goes.
Jamie?
Oh, you better pack a lunch, buddy.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hey, here we go. Steelers, here we go. Pittsburgh going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Final answer. No.
Whoa!
All right, go ahead.
The Pittsburgh Steelers' first Super Bowl win was against which team?
Oh. The first one, you say. So they went to 4. They had them back to back. Oh, who was the first one? Dallas feels like the answer. I'm going to hate that I need the options because Dallas is probably going to be an option. Options, please.
The LA Rams, the Dallas Cowboys,
I knew it.
or Marsh's Minnesota Vikings.
So Dallas was later, I believe. Minnesota feels like it could be. Vikings, final answer. I'd probably talk myself out of that one.
May have staltered it.
Might have.
Question 2. Franco Harris played on that Steelers team. He played for the Steelers for 12 years and with which other NFL team for 1 season?
Seahawks, final answer.
Need the options?
No.
Question number 3. How many Super Bowls did Fran Tarkenton of my Minnesota Vikings play in?
I feel like it's 4. I don't want options because I don't know. And the options are going to be 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Then I would know it's not 4. 4, final answer.
Wow, quite the breakdown.
Yeah.
Tarkenton attended the University of Georgia, where he remains second in total passing yards. Named the only quarterback to throw for more yards than Tarkenton in his Georgia football career.
One would think it's gotta be Stafford. One would think. They had a lot of good running backs on those teams, though. It's nobody that has Carson Becker and none of the guys that are Stetson Bennett. Oh, no. Matthew Stafford. Final answer.
All right, Carey.
I don't like it.
Let's go over these. The Pittsburgh Steelers' first Super Bowl win was against which team? Alex, you said the Vikings. Carey, you said the Cowboys, then eventually wound up talking yourself into the Minnesota Vikings. Marsh's Minnesota Vikings. Correct answer is
Skol Vikings.
both of you needed the options. We have a 1-1 tie.
They weren't my Vikings just yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
No, they always were, Marshy. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, he was a
I was a Rams fan before they decided to leave and ruin our
Yeah, but
lives.
what you don't know is destiny was there for you. We've all lived other lives before.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
in a
documentaries
prior
about
life, you were a Vikings fan. In this life, you thought you were a Rams fan, but then your prior life.
I thought you were going to say in a prior life he was a Viking. And
He
just
could have
stopped.
been. Look, he's a big strapping lad. Anthony, as you were.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go off the rails.
Franco Harris played on that Steelers team. He played for the Steelers for 12 years. And with which other NFL team for one season? Alex, with the options, you went with the New York Football Giants. Carey, without the options, you went with the Seattle Seahawks. Correct answer is
The Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh.
Go Birds.
How many Super Bowls did Fran Tarkenton of Marsh's Minnesota Vikings play in? Note, he lost all 3 of them, by the way.
You didn't have to read that.
Oh, it's right there. It's a fact.
Well, you know what? I wasn't a Vikings fan yet.
You were, remember?
CD said 4. Alex said 2. Neither of you guys used the options. Correct answer is
Meet me in the middle. 3.
3.
Ooh.
Jimmy Eat World.
What were the options?
Yeah, well done.
3, 4, 5.
Nah.
You had that right, Gary.
3, 4, 5.
You get a half point for that. No,
Carry up 3-1.
That was close.
Tarkenton attended the University of Georgia, where he remains second in total passing yards. Named the only quarterback to throw for more yards than Tarkenton in his Georgia football career. Alex, you said Zeke Bradkowski. Carey, you said Matthew Stafford. Correct answer is...
It's Matthew Stafford.
Alex.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Sorry, Alex. You got you 5-1.
Hey, that's all right. That was a blast, fellas. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Hey, Marsh, I don't know who comes up with the questions either, but next time let's not put Steelers questions on there.
I agree.
That's tough. Yeah.
This is true.
Any one of us could have got him, but
Jamie has the authority to do that certain thing.
Fire Grant?
Yeah.
I'm not firing him today. I think it's okay. Grant's under a lot of stress today. We got questions. It was good.
yeah, he's got a Blues game he's preparing for. So,
Alex, you said you got your little one in the car. Is boy or girl?
Little girl, 2.5.
What's her name?
Her name is Remy.
All right.
R-E-M-I.
Remy.
Well, hi,
Excellent.
Remy.
Hi, Remy.
You say hi, Ben? Say hi.
She's like stranger danger. Smart kid. Smart kid.
She's smart. She's a smart one. Hey, thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. That was a ton of fun.
Thanks, Alex.
Have a good
we'll
one.
see you, man.
You too, guys.
So I got to give credit here to Frick James, who put this on my radar here. Aaron Murray has almost double the passing yards as Stafford has. This is messed up. I looked it up. Frick James is 1,000% correct. It's Aaron Murray, then David Green, then Eric Zier, then Stetson Bennett, then Jake Fromm, then Matthew Stafford.
Were any of those people options?
Justin Fields was an option.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Well, the good thing that question wasn't even needed. Carey won anyways.
He did. Carey won with the Franco Harris.
Now, Grant's fired.
So I don't know
Why
where
are you guys laughing?
That's
a pretty big mess up.
Maybe Grant was looking at something else. Chances are he probably was. He's probably looking at something else here. But yeah, it's definitely Aaron Murray. So, Carey, I'm going to dock
Was
you.
that the guy that Stafford's wife, then girlfriend, dated instead of him?
No.
To get
He was
him
a
jealous?
backup. That guy was a backup.
Yeah. Just checking.
Yeah. So, Carey, I'm going to subtract 2 from your total here. You won 3-1 today. 3-1.
I call foul.
Yeah.
I think Carey should sit in the penalty box. For
I think so, too.
I think Grant should sit in the penalty box.
Sounds better.
I'm trying to think here. So games played, still Aaron Murray. Completions, Aaron Murray. Attempts, Aaron Murray.
Okay.
Completion percentage,
He was. Yeah.
Aaron Murray. Yards,
Games played.
touchdowns.
What about games played?
Yep, Aaron Murray, 52. Interceptions, Zeke Bradkowski.
Yeah, Zeke.
Let's see here. Quarterback rating, nah. All right, so Stafford is done. Stafford basically did nothing at Georgia.
Guy stinks.
Yeah.
What has he ever done?
He's a Super Bowl champion.
Maybe it was the most yards in the NFL.
It's a clerical error.
It was. Yeah, either way, I think Jamie figured this out. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Why did Mizzou ultimately fail? We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN. your shot to score a pair of tickets to Post Malone with special guest Jelly Roll on May 13th at Busch Stadium. Tickets for Post Malone and Jelly Roll go on sale next Tuesday at noon, but you can text and win free tickets right now by answering this trivia question. Jamie Rivers just let go of somebody here at 101 ESPN. What's the name of that individual? What's the name that Jamie just fired here at 101 ESPN? Text in now, 314-399-9646. You have the correct name to the Air Comfort Service text line, and you're the 101st listener. You're going to go see Post Malone and Jelly Roll. Find all the details and a bonus chance to win by registering to win tickets to the show now at 101ESPN.com or visiting the 101 ESPN mobile app.
Full disclosure, Jamie has no power to actually.
No. He's got no.
No.
Have you read the bylaws?
The fine print does kind of get to me at times.
Have you seen the Gauntlet, the file we have?
We're just thinking that.
I don't think somebody.
We're just assuming that you don't.
The power to fire people?
Yeah. It's happened before, Carey.
I know you said that. They were at work the very next day.
People that are missing, it's okay.
Oh, Jamie.
Don't mess around.
Why are people texting in my name?
Somebody texted mine, too. Oh, see,
well, you see, keep it up.
All right, Jamie.
What?
Anthony, you got to go. What are we doing?
Mizzou football.
Yeah, let's go to that.
I'm tasked with asking a question for our tickets.
I don't know.
None of you step up.
Yeah. See what happens?
See?
Mizzou football.
Yeah. Yeah. Mizzou. Why did they?
All those times.
Why did they fail?
Have a show meeting? Yeah, that's what happens.
See?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You steaming.
Hey, let's focus. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Carey, why ultimately did Mizzou fail this year?
In all seriousness, they played Ohio State in the bowl game, and everybody got so hyped up about them beating a depleted Ohio State team. And then they go into the season, and all the fans are like, oh, they beat Ohio State. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't Ohio State. And everybody got so excited about a team that didn't take care of business. No, they failed when they went to Texas A&M. Really, honestly. That was the failure. Like, that was your opportunity on the road. They were favored in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Or they were.
It was a
pick 'em.
It's like 2.5, 3, which essentially with home field.
You were ranked at the time. Texas A&M was not, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were. They were like 24, 25.
Yeah, the Mizzou.
They had lost to Notre Dame earlier in the season. If I'm correct about that. But I think that loss put you in a position where you just started chasing. And you had some close games prior to that. You had the BC game that really should have scared some people. You had was it Vanderbilt that you took into overtime that should have scared some people as well. Vandy ended up being pretty darn good, but all in all, when you're looking at a team that Texas A&M was 25th. When you're looking at a team that had everything in front of them, we talked about it. You should have been 6-0, 7-0, 7-0 going into that Alabama game. The bump in the road at Texas A&M was bad because not only did you lose, you got stumped. You lost by 31 points, and really, the last 7 that you got, okay, cool, but you got stumped out at Texas A&M, start to finish, and that to me was the downfall. And then you go play South Carolina. That game, the ending of that game is heartbreaking because Luther Burden makes a play of all plays. He reminded people why people are saying he's a top 5, 10, 15 draft pick in this upcoming draft. Catches it one hand, scores the go-ahead touchdown. You got a minute left in the game. Defense, let's get off the field. And you allow a shovel pass from the 15-yard line to run into the end zone to win the game. And you still, as a two-loss team, still had a chance to make it to the college football playoffs. Your chances are done at this moment because of those 2 losses. The Bama loss, it was bad. You didn't score. But I think that was you were expected. Some expected you to lose that game. Texas A&M,
you lost. Once you lost, I mean,
Drew Lock.
That was it. That was a wrap in the second quarter. By halftime, everybody knew it was over.
Yeah, but that to me, that Texas A&M game and that South Carolina game, are two losses that should not have happened in there. That's why you are where you are.
Yeah. I also think, I got to be honest here, I thought Mizzou was better than they really are coming into the year.
Why? Based off of
Because
what?
I thought that, based off of last year.
Based off of the game against Ohio State.
Not just that, Carey.
That was
not just
Anthony, maybe not you.
Ohio State didn't even have a roster.
That's what I say. I said it over and over again. I said it time and time again. People said I was hating.
They lost 2 games last year. I saw more grit a year ago than I have this year. When they lost 49-39 to LSU, and they lost by 10, but that game was much closer than the final score would indicate. They went on the road to Kentucky, immediately fell behind, and got back into that game. I saw a lot of grit there. They beat South Carolina. They gave Georgia a game. It was 30-21. And then rattled off 3 straight wins, including a 36-7 beatdown of Tennessee. They got the Florida, was it last year when they got the Florida coach fired? Or nearly? No, that was a couple years ago.
He's still there.
That's right, it's Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Crushed Arkansas. And, yeah, they beat Ohio State in a depleted team. But they had a great offseason when it comes to transfers. The transfer portal, I thought that Eli Drinkwitz did a great job there. Recruiting-wise, I thought that this team is ready to take the next step. But when I look at some of the games, especially early on, it felt a lot like the team that showed up last season. And I don't think that while he was the backbone, I don't think that losing Cody Schrader was the nail in the coffin. I don't think the transfers didn't gel quickly enough on the O-line. People were talking about Brady Cook, still some question marks there. I think that's fair. I think the kid's tough, but I don't think he had a lot of special moments this season against better competition. I think the defense took a step back. Too many big plays allowed. Like, if you look at this from a football standpoint, there was a lot to be desired even in moments when they won games. Vanderbilt, we called out. There's another game early on, Boston College, where they gave up some big plays. It just felt off in September.
Is Drink a better recruiter than he is a coach? Ooh. Or is that not fair to say? In college football, I'm okay if you're a great recruiter, but not maybe the best head coach. Just make sure that you have the right coordinators.
It matters. I
think it matters, but I think you have to be a stout recruiter.
You got to be both. I think I think those that are able to do both at a high level put themselves in a position to win championship. Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, like you've seen Jim Harbaugh. Like when you can recruit at a high level, getting those 4 or 5 star guys, and it's not just about the starters are one thing. It's about having depth. Like if you got 4 and 5 star guys that are starters, wonderful. But when you get those guys that are backups as well, waiting their turn, that's when your team is because inevitably someone's going to go down with an injury. Mm-hmm. So the guy that's backing up that guy that got injured, Drew Pine, for example, like you saw him struggle in his first outing, right? You saw him struggle. And so you're looking like, we can't have Brady Cook be out of the game because the guy after him, it takes such a step back. And that's the problem. Now, Drew Pine played well after that, but it's just that when you get that opportunity, it's tough. It's tough to win games. So I think you need to be able to do both at a high level. I think you do one, and I've seen it personally. I went to the University of Illinois. I say this all the time. If Ron Zook would have been on Ron Turner's staff, Illinois would have national championships because Ron Zook could recruit his butt off, and Ron Turner could coach his butt off. You marry those two, you create one, then you got something going. But missing out on one or the other, I think it's hard to have the great success that you need to have.
Is the window closed for Mizzou in terms of being relevant for a college football playoff appearance?
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
They're going to lose Luther Burden.
Okay.
Then what?
But they haven't won anything with Luther Burden this year.
They don't have a quarterback, clearly. Even Brady Cook this year was average at best.
Exactly.
At
so
best.
I don't think that it just falls apart.
I think it does. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a star wide receiver.
But this is the most relevant they've been in a decade.
And look what they did.
We're not. Yes, I think that takes a hit, but I don't think the window is completely closed. We're not talking about the Cowboys, and you have no cap space.
It's completely shut.
You're losing your top 3 receivers.
How could you say that?
Easily.
You sent your daughter there. Your money's there, and you're saying this is a closed job?
I'm pissed.
I'm glad you're not a Central Michigan alum.
You're losing
with that attitude.
Your top 3 receivers, your 2 running backs. Does Brady Cook have one more year left?
Why does it matter?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he does because that was why
I think he's done.
That's why he came back a few weeks ago because
he's going to be the Battlehawks next QB.
It's a wrap. You got to turn it over. They got the 3 seniors, the three of the receivers, 2 are seniors, and Luther is out of there. He has no reason to come back.
Carey gets it.
The 2 running backs are both seniors. They're done.
You got those guys in the what I'm saying is you guys are acting like just close up the shop. They won't have a team next year.
I didn't say they won't have a team.
Transfer
they'll
portal,
have a team.
NIL.
They'll be nowhere near the top 25, though.
Okay, well that's probably fair.
They
shouldn't be in the top 25 now. No,
Andrew.
No, the question was, has their window been closed?
Yeah, in terms of
if they're not in the top 25, what window are you looking at?
He's looking.
You think Indiana was in the top 25 this year? No, but you give them an easy ass schedule with only one team to beat, and all of a sudden you're in top 5.
Okay, you're not wrong, but they also have some good players. You're not going to have good players next year. You have good. You want to
Andy.
That's how mad he is.
Andy.
Yeah.
I was saying the window that you're looking at is the one down in Texas with the sun shining through it.
Yes.
And the
parts falling.
Are you talking about so
stadium's
God can see his
falling
God was pissed? That's basically what we saw. Metal
fall
fell
to the ground.
Yes.
Thank goodness it didn't kill someone. My gosh.
That would have been really awful. If somebody got hurt.
Not great.
Don't die, but got hurt.
Yeah. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Our sports six-pack is next. 314-399-9646. If you have a question for us, send it in. Sports six-pack next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues take on the Minnesota Wild tonight, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Robert Thomas is back in the lineup. We talked earlier about that. If you missed any conversation from today's show, including our interview with Musial Award winner Lindy Noel, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 ESPN Schaefer Door Company mobile app. It is free. Go check it out. Head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Speaking of the Blues, we'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:15, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack. Get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Six-Pack coming your way next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN, at least part one of the Sports Six-Pack. If you have a question, 314-399-9646. Marsh, go.
Question number 1.
By the way, we got a text from the 660. Mizzou fans, since birth, we're done. They're done.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. I didn't say that.
Well, but you're not a Mizzou fan since birth.
This is true. I am not. ILL.
Fighting Illini.
Yep.
Fire up Illini.
I think we're going to step away from that.
Why?
It ain't been working for the Chips well enough. So I think just
we're down to our third string quarterback.
And Anthony, we don't want that to rub off on us. Okay?
You're fine. You barely got past Michigan State last week.
We beat them soundly.
What was it?
36-16. 38-16.
What was it in the third?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why is that when you stopped watching?
I checked once in like the first quarter. All right, go ahead.
All right, from the 314 fellas, as always, thanks for all that you do. My question for you is, now that Robert Thomas is back, will the Blues turn things around, and will we start to see some W's in the win column moving forward? Love you guys. Friendly neighborhood car guy, Armin.
Armin, thank you. Thanks for the compliments. We appreciate you. It all depends on the offense, really. You haven't been scoring goals. Splashback 2 says, warm it up, Chips. We're about to. All right. If they can't get this offense going, Carey, it's not going to matter. If they can't capitalize on some of the power play opportunities they have, and when I say some, I mean like some, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
So I think Robert Thomas coming back. Let's just state the obvious here. You're a much better team with Robert Thomas manning that first line than you are with anybody else. No offense to Booch or whoever, but when it comes to Thomas coming back, it's not going to matter if this offense doesn't find its game.
I think the offense needs to find its game, and obviously defensively you got to play better as well. There are times, again, where we've seen this in the past where people just park their vehicles right in front of the net and tip pucks in or get rebounds or just stand in the way and block Bennington or Hofer from seeing a puck that is zipping right past them. Do the things that allow you to win games and do your job better. Like, it just has to be better all around. And I think getting one of your best players back will help with that on both ends. And winning faceoffs helps as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Question number 2.
From the 314, is Jim Montgomery's firing one of the most ridiculous firings in recent memory? Can you guys think of any other ones?
Any ones that I recall will be also in the National Hockey League. How about Who's the coach, March? You're going to have to help me out on this. They got fired after
Craig
winning.
Berube.
No, that's one.
Okay, that's a good one. Who was the other coach that got fired after winning like the Stanley Cup a year or two prior? Or a year or two, a year or two prior. Maybe even somebody with Boston?
There's been a few different ones. So, let's see. Gerard Gallant took the
Golden Knights
to the Cup.
That's ridiculous.
He got fired.
And replaced with the guy who couldn't get there with the Sharks.
Yeah. He got fired. And then now he's with Dallas.
Can I give you one?
We also have, who else got fired that I thought was kind of weird? Oh, Bruce Cassidy got fired. He took the Bruins to the Stanley Cup, and then they fired him, and he went to Vegas and then won a Stanley Cup.
There you go, Bruce Cassidy. I think that one's ridiculous as well.
There's one that's worse. All time.
In the NHL or?
No, NFL.
NFL, all-time worst head coach that got fired?
Yeah.
Like pretty recently?
No.
Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, after winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Because you don't like him? Jerry Jones, you get what you get and don't have a fit. I know you won another one.
But he won it with Jimmy's
you
guys.
won it with Jimmy's guys. Barry Switzer, you were
Barry Trotz
thankful.
is another one.
Oh, yeah.
Barry Trotz is another one.
With Washington. One with Washington. But I can't remember if he got fired, if he just went and signed with the Islanders. I can't remember.
Either way, just think of an NHL coach that has won big, probably got let go the year after because the players just decided we're done with you.
Well, how about Mike Schilt being fired?
That was a bad one.
Well,
yeah.
From a pure
baseball standpoint, yes.
That was already in the works. And then they won games and they were like, oh, crap.
Oh, no.
He's going to keep his job.
His winning streak.
No, he's not. I'm going to fire him. Did he win Manager of the Year? Have they made that announcement yet?
I know he won the year he got fired.
No, I know he's up this year, right? Have they made?
Yeah, no, he's one of the finalists.
He's one of the finalists. Skeens, they're doing the awards like one at a time. So Skeens,
really good marketing from Major League Baseball.
Yeah, well, they want to take advantage of the people that are not paying attention right now.
Yeah, Trotz wasn't fired. He signed for more money.
Ah, okay.
Why not do a show like they do in other sports?
Well, because that would be a smart thing.
Watch. Nobody's going to watch it.
Well, they put it on MLB Network. Not everybody has that.
I think people would watch. I'm talking like, because they're doing it now. I thought Cal Ripken announced Skeens, if I'm not mistaken. He was at home with his girlfriend. Like, why not have a show and bring and have no?
Because Carey, that would be a smart idea.
Like a show, like put together.
Yeah,
an event.
Like the Golden Globes,
like the Oscars, for baseball.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. Yeah.
Why not do that?
That would be fun.
And then you don't know who's going to win, and you're all sitting there like, "Oh, is it me?"
Right.
Show your highlights. And like,
can I tell him, Anthony?
Yeah, go ahead.
No one cares.
No, I care.
Major League Baseball doesn't even care.
Oh crap!
Major League Baseball is fat, dumb, and happy.
What are they doing?
Nothing. They make a truckload of money for doing nothing.
Why not? What? Okay.
From an entertainment
MLB.
standpoint,
Call me.
Nothing.
I got you. Put this thing together.
They won't pick up the phone.
No, I told them to call me.
Hey, I got a great idea.
Phone,
Major League
baby.
Baseball. They don't care. What's that from? Is that J. Cole?
No.
I'm in the zone, baby. Oh man.
What's that from, guys? You gotta help me out here. You can't just leave me on an island like I'm a huge Asoli here. Okay?
You want to try?
No, I don't want to try. I want you to tell me.
Young Thug.
Young Thug?
Yeah, Thug.
Thug?
They call him Thugger.
It's just dumb. All right, let's carry over our Sports Six Pack. What a joke. Sports Six Pack Part 2 next on 101 ESPN.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
They want to ask you a bunch of questions. They want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
All right, part two of the Sports Six Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh.
Question number 3.
All right, let's start off from the Water Boy. Which is worse, the Pro Bowl, baseball awards, or the Gridiron Guys podcast?
First of all, if we ever did the Gridiron Guys podcast, you'd love it, okay?
You did love it.
Yeah.
When we were
for
doing
those couple of weeks.
all the time.
Yeah. Last year and this year.
We were amazing.
So let's just throw that aside. There might be nothing worse than the Pro Bowl. It's terrible.
The NBA All-Star Game would like to have a word.
I know the dunk contest. The All-Star Game I can stomach. The dunk contest, they had a guy that wasn't even in the NBA win the dunk contest a couple years ago.
And what is it, because guys are just afraid to get hurt or something?
Yeah, they don't compete anymore, Anthony.
You're absolutely right.
They don't like to compete.
They
don't
got
like
that
to compete.
MVS type of compete in them.
Yeah.
Back in my day, Anthony, the best players to play the game competed.
Yep.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose
Dominique
any
Wilkins.
game.
Didn't want to lose a thing.
Yeah.
Vince Carter.
Kids
Best
these
dunk
days,
contest ever.
they're scared.
Yeah,
They're
scared.
just scared.
You can't lose if you don't try.
If you don't try. If you don't compete, you can't lose.
Well, that's ridiculous.
That is the mindset of the current athletes.
You're not wrong.
In today's game, which is also current, which means same thing. All right. Yeah, I think we covered that. So the Pro Bowl?
Dunk contest for me.
Okay. I don't think
I know that wasn't an option. I make my own rules, Anthony.
Okay, fair.
You think the baseball award show or whatever they have is better than the Pro Bowl?
He
They don't even
thinks
have it. They
anything-
don't even have a show.
Well, they do. They're at their homes waiting to be announced. So I got a question. If you are one of the 3 finalists, do they send cameras to all 3 homes? Or are they only sending it to the home of the guy that's getting the award? So the other 2 know I didn't win.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night.
Like, how does that
Paul
work?
Skeens was like in front of the backdrop looked like it was like a fireplace, and he's all dressed up on this couch.
They probably already know.
So why wouldn't I tell anybody? I didn't win.
I don't know.
Or why wouldn't I bet or have somebody else bet on who's going to win?
Wow.
If I know.
They usually cap those
Really?
type of bets. Yep.
By a certain time?
No, just in terms of the amount you can bet.
Yeah. Get 15 people to bet 1,500.
Yeah. I feel like you would get suspended and lose
It's
your
never
chance
happened
to play
before.
Major League Baseball.
Marshy, it's never happened in baseball.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bet on something you're in. Why would you?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Or you just get a fall guy.
Yeah.
It is important, as we know.
Chris Carter told us that.
Go win the World Series.
What?
I'm kidding.
Question number 4.
All right, from the 618, if you could have been the GOAT at a sport of your choosing, what would you have picked?
Football.
Boxing.
That's a good one.
Heavyweight champ of the world. I don't think it gets much better than that. Like, not now, because nobody watches boxing in the way
Right.
that they did.
But back
But like in the 90s, 80s, 90s, you say you're the baddest man on earth.
Yeah.
Like in people's, like if you're the heavyweight champ, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, like when you, like man, it's an individual sport. I don't want to, if I'm going to pick I'd be the best by my damn self. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
that's
share.
true. Yeah. All right. Carey's right. So he took boxing. I'll just say golf.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
Yeah. I'll say golf.
That might actually be better. I don't have to get punched in the face.
Yeah, you don't get it. Yeah. I'm just out there doing my thing.
I would say basketball, because I feel like Michael Jordan is probably one of the most famous athletes in the world.
Yeah.
And he is the GOAT of basketball.
That's because of his shoes as well, though.
Well, I feel
That
like
matters.
if you're the GOAT, you get a shoe deal.
Well, that's true. Mike Tyson never got a shoe deal.
No.
That I know of. He should have gotten a shoe deal.
Why? Why would you buy Mike Tyson's shoes?
Why wouldn't you?
But
they don't have to be boxing shoes.
They absolutely have to be boxing shoes.
They can be shoes they run all the time. That was a missed marketing opportunity.
I don't know.
You know how much boxers run? You get you a shoe, a running shoe, and this is the Mike Tyson running shoe that he prepares to fight people and knock people out.
I don't think
sounds like a missed opportunity.
the marketing campaign is as strong.
Well, Anthony, I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I feel like it'd be really cool to be the best.
What the hell?
The best at like some smaller sport, because then people don't really know who you are, but you can be like, yeah, I'm actually the best like bowler in the world.
Yeah, why would you humble brag that?
Nah.
We're choosing
I'm the best. I'm the best cornhole player in the world.
You want people, what's the point of that? You want people to know. If you are the best in the world at something, you want everybody to know without telling them. You want to walk in places and they're like, oh, that's Anthony Stalter.
That guy, he can throw 3 bags right in that hole. Best cornhole player. We should invite that guy to a backyard barbecue.
Yeah, okay. All right.
He's on my team.
I'll tell you what, I'll choose golf.
It's not a bad one.
That's actually a really good one.
Yeah, see, Droid FX just said, I'm the best darts player in the world, but we don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, he might be.
Good.
And you know, I used to like when I was a kid watching the pool players, people play pool on TV, on ESPN.
Yeah, billiards.
They do the trick shots. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. Name one of those guys.
I don't know.
Exactly. Thank you.
Hey, I got a good one. What about the best poker player in the world?
Oh,
that one's not
that's
bad.
Phil Ivey, Brunson Doyle.
That's not bad.
those guys.
But Chris Moneymaker.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, you might have made that one up.
Golf, who's the greatest of all time?
Tiger Woods,
Okay,
y'all.
there we go. Yep.
Question number 5.
From the 314, what highway is your least favorite in St. Louis to drive on, and why is it 270?
Oh, man. 270's been rough. I mean, real rough.
I don't really go south on 270, so it's not
270
as
south
bad
has been
for
bad.
me.
Mm-hmm. It's been absolutely
Sometimes
terrible.
you have to pee your pants when you're
Sometimes you have to pee your pants when you're in the middle of a traffic jam. Yep. It is it's brutal.
No,
and sometimes your buddy gets you some
depends.
Some depends.
I would say 70 because there's a time after a certain exit where it turns into like Mario Kart or NASCAR or Indy 500 or anything where people are racing at high speeds and not slowing down.
I'll tell you what's bad is Highway 6540, whatever you want to call it. Depends on, some people like to call it 64. Some people like to call it 40. But right where, like, Brentwood is, especially when you go, like, I'm sure people right now are heading down to the Blues game. And around 5 to, I'd say, 6:30.
That is terrible.
Brentwood to,
what is that
like, whatever, wherever. In that little range, it is terrible. Terrible.
Sorry, Marsh.
Huh. It's only one right answer here. And Anthony already gave it to you.
270 South.
Okay.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. We'll move on.
Sports Six Pack. All right, we have Joe Vitale joining us at 5:15. We also still have Jamie's keys to victory tonight, as well as the Light the Lamp game that we're going to play. Going to get into some other NFL topics. There's one from last night, even though Cowboys, look, nobody wants to really discuss the Cowboys, but it's more of a coaching thing. I want to throw at CD in relation to what coaches could be let go, but what do you replace them with? Because the options might not be that great. That's next on 101 ESPN. Time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. So, I was watching the game last night, and you could just tell the frustration boiling for the Cowboys, and it's just been a lost year. And I know that the Cowboys really have become irrelevant. The only reason why that they're still relevant is because they made the self-proclaimed, America's team thing decades ago. But now I think people kind of hate watch them. But as I was watching the game, they're still in it in the third quarter. In fact, if Mike McCarthy decided to kick a field goal instead of going for it on that same drive that Aubrey hit the 65-yarder, which, by the way, was absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
He didn't even look like he connected that much, and that ball sailed. So what a kick by him. Doesn't count, though, because you had the slap from Derek Barnett, and then Cowboys decide to pick up the flag, or pick up the yardage, rather, go down, and then they go for it on fourth down. You kick a field goal there, it's still a 7-point game. Right. Do I think at any point the Cowboys are going to win the game? No, not at all. But there is something to not having your starting quarterback, the no running game, roster isn't very good, and you're still in it on a Monday night against a better Texans team. My point is, do you think it's a foregone conclusion that Jerry Jones fires Mike McCarthy?
Yes, and I don't think it's necessarily his fault that Cooper Rush can't catch snaps or hold on to the ball or throw it. Or
Jerry Jones can't build a roster that's
that's problematic as well. He just said we're going to run it back. We got a good team. They won 12 games last year, didn't they?
Yes,
they ran it back. They didn't feel like there was a need for it. Now they lost Pollard at running back, who kind of had a up and down year. You didn't fix that position. But this is it's just a bad team. Like, it's a bad look. It doesn't feel great watching them play football. At this point, I probably want to see what Trey Lance has. No offense to your fire up Chip.
No, I'm with you on that.
You've seen what you saw from Cooper Rush a few years ago is not the Cooper Rush that you're seeing right now. So
had a better team around him.
Much better. The offensive line, I've seen some bad offensive lines. I've seen that might have been some of the worst display of offensive line play that I've seen. Zach Martin, he had to be hurt. He was hurt. He finally took himself out of the game. He was getting whooped by Autry, by whomever. Like, they were taking turns. My turn to get to the QB. Nope, my turn. Nope, my turn. Like, they were running past the offensive line. It was bad. And as bad as Cooper Rush was and has been, I can't put it all on him, because it's really hard to play football, especially that position, when you don't have time to drop back and figure out where to throw the ball without another 300-pound man in your face.
Yeah.
Like, it's a difficult task. That was bad. They went from probably the best offensive line in history some years ago to, I don't know what they're doing up front. I don't know what they're doing in the backfield. Dak Prescott is out. The defense, they still get after the quarterback to a degree, but they stink.
Yeah.
Like, they stink.
So a much bigger conversation here. Marsh asked us, I think, a week ago, if the product is just bad now, or why can't the product be better than what it is shown? You're about to see again why I think that's the case. You're going to see another coaching cycle happen here, Carey. You already have the Saints needing a coach. The Jaguars are definitely going to fire Doug Peterson. I would think the Bears will fire Matt Eberflus. Who's the other coach that got fired? The Jets, Robert Saleh. So you've got the Jets, you got the Saints, most likely the Jaguars, most likely the Bears. If you throw the Cowboys into the mix, you got 5 open spots. And typically there's about 5 to 6 open spots each year in the NFL. Ben Johnson.
Did you say the Jags?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Ben Johnson is going to be the hot name. He's the OC for the Lions. He passed on gigs last year, hoping for a better shot, this year at a team maybe he's more comfortable with. Assuming he takes one of those spots. Aaron Glenn, maybe he goes to the Jets, former Jets corner.
Yep.
Then you start to get into like Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator. Cohen, first-time OC for the Buccaneers. Who among these guys are ready to be a head coach, though?
You got Bill Belichick still out there.
Belichick, Vrabel.
Cliff Kingsbury has had he's revitalized his image.
I've seen the Cliff Kingsbury movie. I don't need to see it again.
But my question is Cliff Kingsbury, and that's a good name to throw out, Marsh, is Cliff Kingsbury a good head coach, or is he a good play caller?
I think he's a good play caller. I don't necessarily agree that he should be a head coach, but I would not be shocked if a team gave him another chance, just because that's what the NFL does.
And I think that's why teams end up finding new coaches in 3 years.
It goes back to, Marsh, you've asked this. You're like, how are these teams so bad, or how is the quarterback play this bad, or how? I don't think there's enough head coaches anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Andy Reid continues to coach circles around people. There's a reason why Sean Payton, with a roster that, quite frankly, is, and I think Droid FX, who's a huge Broncos fan in our snake pit, I think he would agree here. The Broncos aren't an overly talented roster, and Sean Payton has those guys already above their win total. Their win total is 5.5. They've already won 6.
That's why Mike Tomlin continues to have seasons above 500.
Absolutely. There are these head coaches that are actual head coaches as opposed to these coordinators. They're the hot name. They come in, they get no on-the-job training. They're thrust into, a situation where they're not really ready to build a culture or anything like that. I don't know what you do. I think we're going to see a lot of bad cycling again in the NFL because the candidates aren't necessarily great.
Yeah, I think people just automatically assume because you can call an offense or a defense that makes you a good head coach.
Correct.
It makes you a good play caller. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a good head coach because I almost would say a special teams coach makes more sense because they have an impact in every part of the team. If you're an offensive coordinator, you don't ever really interact with the D-line other than, hey, what's up, man? Joking. Hey, good. You don't know what the heck they do. You have no clue. You don't know what the linebackers are doing. You don't know what the coverage is. Like, you know what the coverages are because of what you're practicing against, but you don't know how they're teaching it or what they're going over.
Yeah.
Same thing, conversely, for a D coordinator. You don't have any interaction with the offensive line. So just because it takes a special person to be able to call plays and then become a head coach and be able to interact with every part of the team, offense, defense, special teams, and also be the CEO of the team.
Absolutely.
Manage games, manage practice times, manage injuries. Like, you have to do everything. And some people are not equipped to do that. But then owners feel like, oh, he had the best offense. Yeah, he got damn Joe Burrow. He got Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Dummy. Of course he's going to be good at calling plays. That guy makes it okay. So I think it's important to find the right person. Like, I know Brian Flores' name has been mentioned, but after Tua says what he says about him, do you trust him around a young quarterback?
I would if the interview went well and I got the sense that he learned from the previous spot. Like Dan Quinn, I think, is a perfect example of somebody that, while he does not Brian Flores and didn't like this was somebody that was in Atlanta for a long time and wound up really not changing. He had the same defense that didn't work coming in that he did going out. He got to Dallas. He goes, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. Then he gets to Washington or gets these other interviews, and he says, hey, this is what I learned. If that's the situation, fine.
That's a schematic thing. I'm talking about a personal thing.
I use one
Urban Meyer kicking a kicker.
Well, Urban Meyer's a fool.
It's Brian Flores.
Sorry,
if you're
Gator.
talking about your starting quarterback saying he's terrible, and you're like that, that's a grown man. Like, you're a grown man. You're 40, 50, 60 years old. Yeah, it probably ain't going to change. Like, in that regard.
Yeah.
So, I'm not knocking Brian Flores. I think he's done a great job with the with the Vikings and what they're doing defensively. But I think it's hard to find the right person. Like, it's hard. You have a bunch of people that think they're going to hire. I don't think, like, even Robert Saleh, I don't think that was a bad hire. I don't think he did a poor job. I think they got the wrong quarterback, and it went south, and it's been terrible since. They got the wrong quarterbacks because they also drafted Zach Wilson, and then they brought in Aaron Rodgers. So it's all, you have to tie all of those things together, and I think if you're the head coach, you got to be willing to tell the owner, no, we can't win with him. And most of those guys, because if it's their first go-round and don't have the pedigree of a Bill Belichick or even a Mike Vrabel who has been a head coach, like there are certain places they won't go because they know, man. And I give credit to Ben Johnson for last year saying, nope, I'm not going to any of those teams. I'll go back to Detroit.
Yeah. All right, we got to get to Joe Vitale. He'll join us next. We'll talk to him about Robert Thomas coming back and some other Blues highlights, or headlines, I should say, ahead of tonight's Wild game. Joe Vitale next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to our Thompson and Collier phone lines. We're joined by the one and only Joe Vitale ahead of tonight's Blues and Wild matchup. What's up, Joe?
What's up, boys? Doing well. How you doing this evening?
We're doing great, especially with the news that Robert Thomas is going to be back. Any surprise that Robert Thomas slid in there right under that 4-week mark?
Not really, because he told me over the weekend, personally. but I guess I was surprised when he told me. I was talking to him there on that road trip, and, of course, I was just small talking, asking him how he was feeling. You know, hey, this is great that you're coming back pretty soon. It's great you made this trip, kind of bring up the morale. And we're talking. I said, what are you thinking? Kind of New York, kind of pushing it, that New York trip? And he said, maybe sooner. And I go, how much sooner? We only got a couple more games before that New York trip. And of course, he wanted to come back on Tuesday. He knew it would be pushing it, but it's great news. You know, this is a player that we all know what he brings to the team, the offense, the teams and the players he plays against, the top-line matchups, killing penalties. We all know the face-offs haven't been as good. But, you know, guys, to me, I think one of the biggest players that you're going to see elevate his game because of this is Pavel Buchnevich. I mean, this is what happens when you lose good players. You insert them and you miss the player, but you don't really fully understand the full ripple effect of how that's going to affect everyone else. And Jamie, you've seen it. Yeah, obviously Pavel Buchnevich, it's a trial year for him at center, and they knew that they could cushion him at that second line center position at the start of the year, and they had Shen to protect him. They had Thomas to protect him, and all of a sudden you lose Thomas, and now Pavel Buchnevich, an inexperienced guy on that second line, has to now take on first-line center minutes, first-line center matchups, and it was tough on him. And I think that now you're going to see a different Pavel Buchnevich with Thomas back in the lineup.
Yeah, Joe, I couldn't agree more. I think we're going to see a rejuvenated Pavel Buchnevich to not only go back to the wing, but play with a couple of guys who he's very familiar with. But I want to dive into the lineup a little further. What do you make of Oscar Sundqvist and Matthew Joseph being coaches' decisions tonight?
You know what? It's the business, right?
Yeah, I know.
It is, and you know it better than anyone. You've lived it as a player. You've seen it on both sides. And, you know, I've certainly lived it as well. I think, to be fair, you know, I think Oscar and I think Matthew Joseph would be the first to tell you that their play has slid off here in the last couple of games. You know, you go back to even the Raleigh game where, you know, Matthew Joseph takes that penalty. It wasn't even just a penalty. It was, you know, a couple costly turnovers in the D zone. You know, and again, it wasn't an easy game. The Carolina defensemen, they pinched like no other. It's a hard play for a winger to make on that wall. He didn't make it a few times. It burned him a couple times. They ended up taking a penalty, and then, of course, you know, it hurt the team. Oscar Sundqvist, same thing. You know, I think that you're going to go through these waves of you're going to have really good moments and sharp moments and fast moments, and then you're going to have moments in the season with as hard as Oscar plays, it's gonna fall short a little bit. And I think over the last couple of games, you know, his speed hasn't been as much of a factor. He's taken a couple penalties in the mix as well, which, you know, being on the third, fourth line, you just can't do. I remember playing with Aaron Asham when I was in Pittsburgh. Aaron Asham, one of the toughest kids I ever played with. And, of course, you know, he told me at the beginning of the year, he said, you know, we don't do three things on the fourth line. And I said, what's that? He goes, we don't get scored against, we do not take penalties, and we do not step offside. And I said, I get the first two, but not stepping offside? He goes, yeah, don't step offside. It was the very next night we played our first game together. I went in offside after like a 10-second shift. They blew the whistle, and then, of course, we got yanked from the ice, so we got pulled off.
The line changed, baby.
So, you know, there are certain rules when you're a bottom six player, and for Matthew Joseph and Oscar Sundqvist, you know, not taking penalties is one of them. They both have, you know, fallen into that category, and I think, like I said, their game has been shaken up here a little bit, and it's just a really good reset for them. I think you watch the game from up top, you get a different perspective. I saw Matthew this morning. He wasn't his bubbly self in the locker room. Usually he's got this just beyond words personality. He seemed kind of quiet. He seemed, you know, strictly business. You can tell this one's eating him up a little bit. And that's what the coach wants. You want that. You want that in a player, this one to kind of eat away at him a little bit, because when he does get back in, and he will be back in, you know that new surge of energy is going to be important.
Joey, what do you make of that third line of Bolduc, Holloway, and Texier? Those young guys are hopefully able to create some offense as well.
Yeah, you know, Carey, I like young guys together when maybe those young guys aren't finding their groove. You know, you do see this, right? You look at the NHL, a young winger like a Bolduc, you put him on a line with Thomas and Carey, you surround them with good players. There is the side that, yes, they're around good players, they should make things happen. But then there's the side, not saying this has happened necessarily with Bolduc, but there is the other side where sometimes they can get intimidated by the players they're around. You look at the skill, you look at the all-star in Robert Thomas, you look at the point getter in Jordan Cairo, and it can sometimes be a little overwhelming for a young player. And I'm starting to see that a little bit in Bull Duke's game, where I think that sometimes he seems a little overwhelmed by the situation. Maybe he's overwhelmed by the players he's playing with. But the thought is when you're playing with these excellent players that you got to get them a puck. You got to find Thomas, you got to find Shen, you got to find Buchnevich, because you want to please them. As a young player, you want to please your line mates. There's no question about it. Now, you pull those young players away from those top lines when things aren't going well, because you know that, as Zachary Bolduc will tell you, he's a shooter, and maybe he's dusting too many pucks off and he needs to command it more. You put him with a younger player, like I love it with Dylan Holloway tonight. You put him with a Dylan Holloway. They play a very similar game. They're quick, they're darty, they have great shots, and they're both very young. So sometimes it works. Sometimes that a young player doesn't feel as intimidated being alongside, let's say, a Braden Shen, Stanley Cup champion, and a guy that's got just incredible numbers. But you put him with a Dylan Holloway who's kind of alongside of you, kind of in this new journey together. They're both, pushing 100 games. I think Holloway's a little over now, but certainly Zachary Bolduc's got a long way to go. But you put those two young guys together, and sometimes there's just chemistry. There's just magic, and I know that the answer's hoping for tonight.
Joe Vitale joining us right now on the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. So, Joe, if we're just going to kind of fast forward to tonight's game against the Wilds, Wild have played very well this season. If you were going to kind of pick apart one of the most, like the keys to the Blues getting back on track tonight, what would it be?
I think the biggest matchup, Stalt, is going to be Thomas back in the lineup, and they are going to have to do a heck of a job shutting down their top group. You look at Eriksson Ek. He didn't play in the opener, obviously, with when the Blues lost that game. So he's back. He is a two-way center that is tough to play against, great on draws, and he's a driver in the middle. They're going to have him, I believe, for the most part, with that Kirill Kaprizov and then Matt Boldy. Matt Boldy having another incredible year, another young player, long stick, big reach, great shot, good in the offensive zone. And, Kirill Kaprizov, I don't know how you guys feel, but next to Connor McDavid, I think that he is maybe Nathan McKinnon. I think he's the most electric player in the National Hockey League right now, and he's not slowing down. We saw him here in the opener. One thing about his game is that people are just in awe of the highlights and the stick handling and the goals. But you watch this kid play. I mean, he loses the puck. You would think you took like $1,000 from his wallet. I mean, he is that hard when he wants to get it back. I mean, he will bite you. He will chew your ankle. He looks like a little bit like David Perron. He reminds me of David Perron in the sense that he is a puck possessor, and if you take that puck from him, he reminds you almost of that Happy Gilmore movie. Like, don't you ever touch my puck when he chases that. That's how he plays the game. So he's got this crazy balance of skill, but also he's got this incredible competitive nature, and to me, that's their top line right now. Boldy, Eriksson Ek, and then, of course, Kirill Kaprizov. So it's going to be a huge night for Robert Thomas as he comes back. He's going to get those matchups. It's going to be a tough one. And obviously without Matt Zuccarello, who we all hope is in really good hands, a really scary situation with him. And I think that he's on his way to recovery. But they will be without Zuccarello here tonight. And that top line is going to be one to be reckoned with. And it's going to be a tough one here for Thomas, and he better be ready to go.
Joe, last thing for you here, and it's off topic, not Blues related at all per se. But Bruins today relieve Jim Montgomery of his head coaching duties. I don't think it was much of a shock for me because of what we just saw in Boston and things that we've heard. But overall, it's kind of surprising with the winning percentage that he's had there.
Well, Jamie, you called it. You were just a day early. We were on the road. We were on the road. You're like, man, this seems like a good day to be fired, or a good day for maybe the Bruins to make a move if they're going to do it. And they were about 24 hours behind you. And you weren't wrong. We discussed it on the road. And you know what? It kind of is what it is. And I think that you can look at this firing a couple different ways. And I think, much like the Berube firing, I think a lot of people in the NHL world are looking at Jim Montgomery's record as a Boston Bruin, and they're like, man, what is the world coming to, right? How can firings become this? Look at the record. Look at the obviously the historic run he went on when he got to Boston with all those wins. He certainly hasn't gotten the job done in Boston. That's the fact. But that's one side. The other side is, does this coach still have the pulse, and does he have this group? Can he manage the group? I think that's what happened with Berube. We all loved Craig, and we all loved Chief. We all loved what he did. But I think at the time, he lost he lost grasp of the group. And the question for Doug Armstrong was, can he regain that grasp? And you waited and you waited. And as soon as a general manager sees that he can no longer grab this group in the near future, that's when I think you got to move on. And I think that's why they had to make that move with Chief. And the same thing's with Monty. I love Monty. And the players, I think, liked him a lot. But, Jamie, you and I were watching that Boston game. Marchand was just completely gone. McAvoy is too good of a player to be oblivious in the game. David Pasternak. I mean, you look at all their unbelievable good players. To me, that's a playoff team, and they're playing like they're not even engaged for their coach. So when you see that and you see players that are no longer really playing for their coach, that is a really, really tough spot to put your general manager, and it's something that needs to be adjusted pretty quickly. So as much as you hate to see it for Monty, I love him. I think he's a great, great guy, unbelievable coach. I think for the Boston Bruins, based off of how things have gone over the last few weeks, I think that unfortunately it probably is the right move because of the fact that you look at the way this team's playing and they're just not responding right now to his coaching style.
Joe, have a great rest of your night. We appreciate it, and have some fun tonight as Robert Thomas returns.
That sounds good, boys. You guys have a great evening. We will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Joe. That's Joe Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. From one former hockey player to another former hockey player's keys to victory. Jamie Rivers of the Islanders, Habs, and all the rest. We'll give you his 69 keys to victory tonight, as well as the goal will light the lamp next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, a lot of men go through changes in life, and one of them is low testosterone. And it can happen at any point. You can be 30, 40, 50, 60. Sometimes you're lucky it's longer down the road. Sometimes you're not. It just happens. But you can fix it with mentality. You get in there, 2 locations. They've just done a wonderful job of keeping me on track. And, my program has changed slightly as things have, happened and the vitamins and all that stuff. And I'm on the peptide train. That's amazing. It helps with all my old injuries. I mean, I feel awesome.
I saw a guy, BT, in there today in South County.
Nice.
So had an opportunity to chat with him. And, yeah, so it is kind of a clubhouse vibe at mentality. But the nice thing is that when you go in there, you do feel as though that you're on the right track almost immediately because you sit down with their board-certified physicians. You talk to them about how you're feeling. And be honest with them. For me, I was dragging big time when it came to the energy levels, mood swings up and down, all that. And you're like, this isn't me. I don't want to continue to do it this way. If you're chasing your tail constantly, trying to find the right exercise regime or the right diet or whatever, then why don't you take the next step and go down to mentality? Like Jamie said, 2 different locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield. Talk to their experts down there. And if you do hop on their program, it won't be long. You feel like, that's right. This is how I feel. I feel young again. I feel great. I'm checking everything off the list. LowTUSA.com. Again, LowTUSA.com if you want to visit them online. When you do head down to mentality, tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Robert Thomas is back, and he's in the lineup tonight as the Blues take on the Wild. You can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interviews with Lindy Noel, who is receiving a Musial Award this upcoming weekend, and Joe Vitale. We just had Joe on the show. If you missed those interviews or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 ESPN Schaefer Door Company mobile app. It's free, so go check it out, download it. Head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Jamie's 69 keys to victory tonight for the Blues. We'll also play Light the Lamp, so that's all coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You heard Marsh in the Sports Center update. He demanded that Jamie give us his 69 keys to victory for the Blues tonight against the Minnesota Wild.
I was just reiterating what you said.
Either way. Demand, reiterate.
Boy, you guys going to be disappointed.
Okay.
Why? Well, there's nothing disappointing about having 69 different keys to the game.
Nah, Marsh is exactly right. Go ahead, Jamie.
6 to 9?
No, 69.
Depends.
I think we'll take 6 to 9.
I bet you would. All right. First key to the game for the Blues. You want to have a good start. You're back on home ice. You're playing a division rival. You want to have a good start. You got Robert Thomas back in the lineup. You're going to have a lot of buzz surrounding this whole thing of Thomas coming back. So you want to make sure that you have a very simple, solid, good start. Don't be fancy. Don't be amped up with the crowd. And then certainly don't think that Robert Thomas is going to come onto the ice and everything's just fixed immediately.
Yeah.
It's nice to have him back. He's going to be a huge addition to this team. But he needs his teammates, too. Needs his teammates. 2, be aware of Kirill Kaprizov. This guy's pretty good at hockey. So if you're out there on the ice, no matter who you are, whatever line you're on, take inventory immediately and watch the Wild changing on the fly. They're going to try and sneak him out there. I guarantee they try and sneak him out there against the young line. It'll even be a time where he might even play with the Wild's 4th line out against the young guys just to get a little bit of an advantage. Remember me saying that. So be aware of where he's at on the ice for sure and play him hard because he's strong on his feet. He's strong on the puck. He's super talented. You can't give him any time and space out there. And even when you make contact with him, don't think the play is over. He's going to keep playing and keep playing. He's going to find those loose pucks. He's going to try and score. So you got to do that as well. And protect your goaltender out here today. You got guys like Hartman and other guys, Eriksson, Ek. They get to the front of the net. They crowd the crease. The Blues have done a very good job this season of clearing out the blue paint, much better than in years past. They got to dig in tonight, clear out the crease as well. That power play going. Said this a number of times now. You got Robert Thomas back. He's going to be playing up on the blue line, quarterback in the power play. It'd be nice for the power play to get a goal or 2 or 3. That would be unbelievable. Certainly would take that. So for me, those are the keys. Those are the most important keys to the game today for the Blues.
Do you think Ryan Hartman is the most underrated enemy of the Blues? Like Nazem Kadri, everyone's like, oh, we don't like Nazem Kadri. Like, Ryan Hartman should be in that conversation.
Yeah, as far as for the Blues, yes. I think he is.
I can't stand him. Or I can't stand playing against him.
Yeah, he's a puke out there.
Yeah.
But, again, you'd like to have him on your third line here.
Oh, for sure.
It's usually a sign of a player that is good is when you hate.
Well, and he's done a fair share of, or he's played in a fair share of games for, basically everyone in the Central. So I guess his next destination could be St. Louis.
Could be
played
you.
for Nashville, Chicago, Minnesota.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player too. But yeah, he's a thorn in the side for sure.
All right, let's light the lamp.
And a couple of guys can really shoot the puck.
Shooter! I must confess you scored first.
Well, who was the first person?
Breakaway! Shoots! Score! We got hockey to learn.
All right, Marsh, you're still in the lead.
All right, so Jamie said don't necessarily count on Robert Thomas to do everything. You know, he's just coming back from injury. I'm going to take that into account. So with my pick, give me Robert the Thomas.
Well, my pick is someone who is going to benefit tremendously from having Robert Thomas back in the lineup. He's going to be playing a position he's very familiar with, unlike the one he's been playing all year. Give me Pavel Buchnevich.
It's a really good pick.
Good choice,
Carey.
You know, talking about these guys, I want to see what they do. Joey talked about it, no pressure. Yeah. You're playing with a younger group. Give me Zachary Bolduc.
Yes! Ooh. I like that one.
Gotta get one.
And I want him to score.
Give me 3 of them. Hell.
Now that
take all 3.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I'm going to get on the board tonight.
Do you?
No, I don't.
Are you going to the game?
Oh, wow, Anthony. Are you going to be on the Jumbotron?
That's funny. You guys.
No, I just suit up. Just as bit of a... Never mind. Dylan Holloway. Why don't we go with Dylan Holloway?
On the assist. Zachary Bolduc.
Dylan Holloway. All right. We just lit the lamp. Or at least we'll try. We haven't been good, guys.
No.
I mean, Carey and I really have been terrible.
Is it really on us?
It's not our fault.
No, it's not. Okay. The Blues don't score.
I
Like
was on the Jake Neighbors train, and then he scores on a game where we don't play light to limp.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if we did this for like the Hurricanes, I think we'd have a better shot. But
why is that?
They score. Yeah. All right. Wow. Bet the board.
Wow.
What, Jamie?
It's a serious ricochet.
Bet the board.
I think that was a straight
Three
shot.
It was.
3 stars of the day.
You didn't see it coming.
Criticisms and compliments next on 101. Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, they have over 700 new and used vehicles all in one location. It's the largest and best used selection in St. Louis. They make it easy to find your next new ride. Whether it's a vehicle for you or somebody within the family, they've got affordable vehicles as well and financing rates available for everyone that walks the door. They've got their Black Friday everyday event. It's been extended through December 2nd. Low finance rates available right now. We're talking about 0% APR on Pathfinders and Rogues, 0.9% APR on Frontier, plus no payments 3 months. Available on select new Nissans. Brand new Nissan Kicks, priced around $20,000. Brand new Nissan Sentras, priced around $23,000. So if you're not in the market for a Pathfinder or a Rogue, you're all set. Low payment options on all credit types. It's all available at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. New Nissans and select used vehicles come with the complimentary lifetime warranty, plus select new Nissans come with the complimentary maintenance plan, plus a 30-day return promise. Check them out online, AutoCentersNissan.com. Check them out in Herculaneum. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan. anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN Schaefer Door Company mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
I thought you were doing your shoulders thing.
All right, time to bet that board. Marsh. Yeah, damn right we do.
Anthony, you're climbing back in. You're only down by 2 now. Remember at the beginning of the month, you said that it's over.
It was.
Right?
It's still over.
This could be the best and greatest comeback since that fateful night.
Don't do it.
In February?
In Minnesota, as the Minnesota Vikings came back and beat the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. What did you think he was going to say?
I thought he was talking about something else.
Me too.
Bad day.
Yeah, certainly was. Well, the Bruins, when they came back in the third period against the Blues, that was tough.
That was a tough one, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused here, Anthony. I don't know what you were referring to.
I thought he
I thought you were going to bring up the Bruins coming back, and that would have just been brutal.
Yeah, because, you know what? Of course he'd bring up the Bruins, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that's what you thought.
I thought you were going to talk about the comeback that the Blues had against your Sharks earlier this year.
That was a great one.
I wouldn't do that because I don't like the Sharks.
I love them. That's right.
Sure you do.
Boy, you're a real pile.
You guys remember that Super Bowl a couple years ago?
Steaming, Willie beaming.
Right on a pile of snow, just
It's
steaming.
time. Ew, steaming.
Oh, man. All right, Marsh, what's your play?
So I am going with the Blues and Wild game tonight. First to 5 shots on goal. Minnesota Wild minus 135.
That's a really random prop.
Why would you think that the Minnesota Wild would be the first team to get 5 shots on goal? What evidence do you have? Marshy, I don't.
Lock it in. That's terrible.
I don't like your thought process
All right.
here.
Give me the best team in the NBA. The Cleveland Cavs
You got to be
plus
kidding
7
me.
against the Boston Celtics.
Seriously?
Unbeaten
What are you doing?
Cleveland Cavs
What are you doing?
are getting 7
Why would you do
in
that?
Boston.
You don't even like
Give
basketball.
me the Cavs plus
What's wrong
7.
with that? Why would you do that? You know what I want? You going, Jamie? Is it me? You?
I don't know.
Me?
Who's up?
Give me the Boston Celtics.
Yes!
Minus 7.
Let there be blood.
Because somebody has to beat the Cavs at some point, right?
No.
Why not Boston?
Well, you can win.
Tonight.
You can beat them. Jason Tatum can beat them. That's cool.
No.
Just beat them by 6 or 5. Hell,
Or
even
8.
4.
You can be first. You can be second. Hell, even 5.
It'll probably be a push. We could both get screwed.
All right. Florida Panthers up in Winnipeg to play the Hockey Jets.
Thank you
No.
for clarifying.
Yeah.
I'm not going money line, boys.
What are you going with?
5.5 is the total on this.
Yeah.
I'm going with the over.
Over. It is over.
Over. It's minus 115, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
There you have it. There's bet the board. Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
For the 417, listening to you guys just got dangerous. My 2.5-year-old has started parroting you. Not parroting like a parody, but like a parrot.
Yeah,
What did we say?
repeating
Saying the
what
same
we
thing.
say.
Well, that's probably
What
good.
did we say? It depends.
All kinds of great stuff.
It depends. Nah.
I feel as though we've got a lot to offer.
Well, it depends on what
The youth
what
of
part
America.
The young lad was listening to.
It's always informative, Carey.
It is. Life lessons all the way around here in the Fast
We're
Lane.
molding the future.
No doubt.
We're responsible for that.
not responsible.
Yeah.
We're just molding them.
We're not responsible. We're just helping.
Yeah.
We're like, a booster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Push in the right direction.
Of course.
We're the flashlight for them in a very dark.
Flash, right?
Yeah, flashlight. What the hell do you think I said?
Nothing, Anthony. Keep the feet moving.
Keep it moving.
You clean out your ears.
Well, you
Once you
know.
use your flashlight, Anthony.
How is flashlight?
Just keep the feet
going.
moving, man. Trust me.
I heard flash. Thank you, Marsh. Like they're trying to make it into something else.
I didn't do anything.
No, you did.
No, now you're highlighting something that isn't there.
All right.
Anyways, we got a text from the 314. Please take the mic away from the intern. I'm assuming that's about me.
What?
Because I said the Wild will score, or not score, we'll get 5 shots on goal before the Blues? What have you been watching this year? I'm trying to win.
Not the Blues. Tonight.
Never said the Wild can't lose the game. The Blues can absolutely win tonight.
Yeah, 5 shots has nothing to do with winning.
No,
Losing.
it's just the first of 5.
They probably weren't talking about you. Probably talking about me.
Anthony, you've been here for a long time.
Yeah, but still.
Still on probation.
Absolutely. Every day I walk in here is probation.
I didn't mean your job.
No. Either way. Job.
It's totally about me. I'm just looking at these other texts from this listener. All right, from the 314, you boys have a great night and get ready for a great humongous day.
Okay.
Tomorrow's going to be a humongous day.
Okay.
Sure is. Really? Looking forward to it.
All right, from the 636, longtime listener, I've recently started watching the show on YouTube now and then.
Thank you.
Kind of adds an element to the show, seeing all y'all's expressions and mannerisms. I'm not sure if that's a criticism or a compliment.
No, it's a compliment.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unless they flat out say it's a criticism, I take it as a compliment.
Well said, Jamie.
Yeah.
That's a positive outlook.
It's all about how you
It's
view
also
it.
ignoring some things, too. No matter what, everything's good.
Yeah.
We're good here.
I think it's much better to live in, your
be
own
oblivious?
bubble. Yeah. You're happier that way.
That's a strong word, Carey.
Oblivious?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't
You
think-
might not be like a healthy mindset, but you're happier. I guarantee
You don't want to be in a bubble.
I don't know.
I mean,
Depends
what's our
who's
guy's
around
name
you.
that was in the knocker ball bubble? What?
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
yeah. Dylan.
you don't want to be in a bubble.
Yeah. Well, that's a different kind of bubble.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes out to Snuffleupagus.
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 Yeah,
Yes.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
3rd
It
star.
doesn't
Big Bird,
exist, so it's hard.
imaginary friend
Yes.
from
I saw
Sesame Street.
Snuffleupagus. He exists.
That you did on
You
several
did.
nights, Carey.
And so did Big Bird.
2nd star of the day goes out to the Bone Stimulator.
Yeah, good call on that one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Gave us Robert Thomas back.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you, that bone stimulator.
1st star of the day goes out to our guest earlier today, Musial Award winner Lindy Noel.
Yes.
Oh, great story. If you missed that, like Marsh said, you can listen to the podcast. Incredible story as to why she's getting a Musial Award, and she absolutely deserves it. All right. You got Blues Wild pregame starting in less than 5 minutes. For Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.